for their service. I think it's an easy thing we can all do. Let's have our moment of silence. We will be back at 2 o'clock. Thank you, Obi, for filling in for Sean today. Actually, Sean's kids were performing at a Remembrance Day ceremony at their school, so Sean wanted to be there to watch them and be able to do that. So actually, Baron was hosting and emceeing it. That should be pretty cool. Hopefully, he's got some video of that. I think that's really cool and awesome. So we'll see you guys back at 2 o'clock. It's throw you to Sharif and Joe.
Take care, guys.
To the midday show, thanks for the boys for doing that, and I hope we can all kind of reflect on things. That's your boy Joey Options. I am Sharif, and let's see who is joining us today. Shout out to Kirk D and Ronnie Jacks. We got R6D and Izzy. Shout out to Christopher Ocean and Rishi Desai. Jason Koingi and Hypercube. We also got Ed Miller and Rishi. Oh boy, I guess that's Obe's friend there. Miami P. Front Porch Trader. We got the OG Yannick Nesbeth. Ariel N and Dan Gale. Patrick DeValle. As well as Darth Trader. Shout out to JG and Anuja. Jody Mills, the dog of Ford. I always tap Joseph when, anyway. Adam DeLuce, all class. Adam joining us as well. Shout out to Hefty Bull in Los Polos, Hermanos, Pack Ride, 2 New York Cents, and No Loon. Who else, man? Death God. Oh, boy, that's a statement there. Shout out to L, who's writing something in Mandarin that I can kind of read. That's a Tien there. That's a Shung, and that's a How at the end. Cream pie. Not reading that. Yeah, wow, Roger Noonan. Wow. Mike P.D. Ryder. We got Simple Pro Trader and one more, Joseph. Grandpa Trades. Good morning to everybody, guys.
Yeah, good morning. I hope everyone's having a fantastic day. I got to read that full person's name, the one that we couldn't spit out. I don't see them here in the chat. Anyways, it's irrelevant, guys. I hope everyone's having a fantastic morning. Again, a little bit more of a choppy one for me here. Slightly red on it, but it ain't nothing. It ain't a thing but a chicken wing around these neck of the woods. We're going to head over to Adara, then we'll talk more shop.
Guys, we have some Boeing delivery updates here that I want to go over. For the month of October, they delivered 13 wide bodies in October, including 7 Dreamliners. They also recorded 15 new orders, though they also canceled 7 other orders. Apparently, they've set out 493 aircraft so far this year. 370 of those are from the 737 series. And they also said here, apparently they sent 53 aircrafts in October. Of those 53 aircrafts in October, 40 were 737 models. I also want to talk about some comments being made here by White House economic advisor Kevin Hassett. He's saying that it'll be that growth will be back to 3 to 4% growth pace by early next year. So again, Kevin Hassett forecasting or expecting here 3 to 4% growth by early 2026. As we send you back to Joe and Sharif.
Thank you very, very much for that one. Appreciate it, man. You guys are nice today. I like this one. Shay, Raj, Trav, man, my boy, what's up? Everyone in the chat. Yeah, of course, Jody. We're always gonna give you a shout out. I know you were at happy hour last week. So I'm like, hey, what's going on with that one there? Nothing wrong with a little bit of that.
How did you know that?
Because she put it in the chat. She's like, it's time for happy.
My bad.
No. She's like, yeah, it's time for happy hour. So you can always have a little fun. But all right, guys, here in Guyana, South America, remember. Remembrance Day as well, says Ashley Denny. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's a big day across the board. Again, lest we forget, and thanks for all the individuals who have served and are currently serving. But let's get right into this, guys. A choppy one for me. We don't want to talk about this one just yet. Tesla was on my radar for a potential short, but this channel, it was prime time. It was a really nice short, but for me, I'm like, I'm in it. I've seen some prints that made me like, hey, are we going to turn long now? But that wasn't the case. So after that point, I'm like, all right, I'm flipping my bias too quick. Let's forget about that. Now, as on to RGTZ, that's going to be the inverse of RGTI. Yes, absolutely, guys. Don't forget.
You have the option.
Tell him, Joe.
This trade has unlimited upside.
Has unlimited upside. So don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. But in all reality, here it is on RGTZ. I was looking for this. So essentially, when I'm longing, it's short RGTI. I go heavy. I go pretty heavy right here, and then I got stopped out tight. Stopped really tight. Then we take a second attempt, get a little piece out, nothing substantial. 33% stopped out, break even. I'm like, all right, let's let it chop around a little bit more. Try it one more time. Looking for the continuation to this pivot level high. Don't get it, stopped out, break even. So it was a choppy one in RGTZ for me, but now we're just sitting in some Apple. Once again, I told you, we're one trade away from turning this day around, and it ain't anything for that to happen. Yesterday was a pretty solid one. This morning, more choppy. Be patient. The channel is most definitely to the downside, but this is all I got going on right now, guys.
All right, guys, let's talk about this one. Good morning to everybody, by the way. MTC, I'm involved here. Look, this is a good looker right now. It's not the #1 gapper that we've seen this week. It's only up 26%, 35% from the open, meaning that it started the pre-market in negative territory. But that's okay, because it's got a gnarly trend going on right now. So initial entry at 95s, and then I saw strength through 3, especially with the higher lows. So I added into the position at 2s. I still had planned DCAs at 88s and at 82s to get more if it did put in some lower highs. Alas, it didn't come into there, so I had to add at the high. Now, I'm waiting at 9s, I'm waiting at 11s, I'm waiting at 14s, but we're barely holding above 3. The thing that's keeping me involved and interested in this name is the higher lows, especially since, well, basically it's uninterrupted higher lows, at least since 1040. Let's see if that holds up. The technical levels are as follows. The 10 EMA on the 5 at 87 and VWAP at 79. There it goes. So we get a print there at 9s, right back down into 8s it goes. I've got some prints here at 11s as well, so we'll keep tabs on that. I've also got a new position here, IFRX. Kind of feels like a flat top break through that, mid 180s, mid to low 180s. That's kind of what I see with this one, up 15 some odd percent. But let's get to this one, because I haven't had a trade on it quite yet, but it is starting to move quite volatile. RDGT. It just started getting its sales under it. I think this one is already halting. Give me a sec to look at the 1 minute over here. Yeah, so this one did halt to the upside at 1041. It was a 5 minute halt, and that's all I see. Then we had dearths of liquidity. But look at this. It's trying to build its way into 3. It's got a flat top here at 280. It is a little spready, 36% under this one's wing right now. RDGT coming into $3, 308 high, topping tail candle that manifested right at 11. But look at the buyback with a higher low, most notably the higher low. That's really what keeps me involved, and that's really what gets my attention, because I know that the buyers are picking this up at more and more aggressive levels. So there goes MTC down into 95s. I still have plans to defend this into the volume weighted average price. So that is my look there, but we're going to have to get involved here with RDGT, because this thing is all sorts of freaking strong. So let's get right down to it. RDGT, is this on the NQ? It is. Okay, so decent spread, 3 pennies, not the best, but not too bad. It's a 308 high, current bar low. We've got 254. So if the best case scenario for you is to put your stop at current bar low, I mean, I don't know how you manage risk any other way. So keeping an eye on that. Quickly back to MTC, as this one did fill one of my orders. Now we got 96s, so let's go ahead and put some scalp trades based upon that latest dip trade. Back to RDGT. Sorry, I'm going to have to funnel through all three pretty quickly, so I hope you're able to keep up. So RDGT 38%, 290 right now. Current candle doesn't clear 3. Prior candle doesn't clear 3 either. And on a closing basis, of course, they've wicked above it. But I'd like to pick up something on the higher low. This candle has another minute or so left. No, 15 seconds until this candle closes on the 5. So what are we going to get here? Are we going to get a decisive clearing of 3? Or are we going to get a rejection? Here we go. Ask is above 3. Bid is not. 99's on the bid. Can we clear? The answer to that is no. We just momentarily touched 3 super quick. Now are we going to get that continuation? It's going to find a buyer in me here. If it dips below 280, that's the end of the trade. We're going to have some sort of risk management. So 3s is what we've got at the moment. Let's go ahead and post here for a possible price spike up into a key level. Looks like we're going to get a little bit more zig, a little bit more zag on RDGT. What do you got, Joey?
All right, good stuff there, guys. There might be a reload opportunity here on the AAPL short. That's what we're looking at. I'm short Apple here, guys, off of this specific print at the highs. We had multiple pivots at that level. Shreve was pointing that out to me earlier in the day, and I'm like, yeah, you know what? Look at this, boom, boom, boom. This one, you do get a little bit of a liquidity grab north of it, but I do like our chances for a continuous bleed. If you do go out onto the daily, you open up at the top end of this range. You have to take that into consideration that it might just be ready to go, sitting on top of resistance, now acting as potential support, and then you're going to make that move for that previous all-time high around 277. And we're starting to get a pretty aggressive bounce off of VWAP here. One thing that's not participating, Travman and I are just talking a little bit about some Bitcoin. I was reading some things the other day about it and watching some crypto videos and everything along those lines, and they're just saying it's just a mass distribution essentially happening right now between individuals who've been holding wallets that have been holding Bitcoin for more than 5 years, and they're just distributing it to a lot of these institutions and other retail individuals. So for me, the outlook on Bitcoin in the near future isn't overly optimistic, but that's okay. We'll just be patient. Second half of the halving cycle is usually the more bullish one, and we're still in year 1. So we have to wait, I believe, until April of next year to enter that second year, and then after that, maybe we can get a little bit of a move. Once that halving, a year leading into the halving, boom, I think we're going to hit some insane numbers. Hopefully, anyways, that's the kind of the projection and what I'm looking at. You are correct. Cuddling is what they're doing. Yeah, exactly, Sean. So, you know, it's whatever they got going on. But let's keep our focus on the trade that we got currently on right now. Even though it says I'm not in a position, I haven't made any transaction. As long as we hold through this support level that can act as potential resistance, even though there is an indecision print at these highs, I don't know why it does that. Sorry, individuals. Why as soon as I click on the chart, it changes it. But right at VWAP, we have an invert or a hammer candle right there. It does close as a bullish print, but the VWAP hold is most definitely in play, and we have to take that into consideration just in case it wants to bounce back and come against us. We won't allow this trade to go anywhere negative, and I only have about 10-15% of that left, all right? So other than that, we're going to keep looking at BBAI. It's continuously bleeding here, so we can't stop that just yet. As it heads towards some key support levels, once those break, I'm going to look for that continuation to the downside, Shreve.
All right, man. I can't see my position because of this thing, but we got 70s on right now, popping up into 82s, looking for continuation into 90s. Looks like there's a seller here at 82s, looking for that pop back up. Look, it breached VWAP ever so briefly, so I did get stopped out, but look at that continuation. Right back up it goes. 88s it's showing me now, so certainly a liquidity grab, and we put twice the position. Yes, go, Joey. All right, 96s. We doubled up our position on that dip trade. I liked it a lot. There it goes through the high. Again, RDGT 308 high just showed me 306s. Quick as you like. We got 70s on, so now we can kind of rest a little bit easy, and now I'm going to take what I perceive to be money fills above 15s. 04s now showing up. Good continuation now on RDGT, 4 showing up. Can't clear that level though. Anything below my entry ends the trade for me. It is really that simple. So we're gonna go ahead and throw in that stop, and you know where I'm gonna put it since I'm at 70, Joey. We're gonna have to put it at 69. We're gonna give it a little bit of room there. So shout out to my boy RDGT. It's doing it freaking live, but it is still having trouble with that $3 area. So pack in the patience. Let's see what we get. We won't get upset. Shout out to my man Neil. All right, MTC, we got the dip, and now we're moseying back up. We got 96s on. I'm still waiting at 98s over here. There's 98 showing up on the level 2, but not quite high enough in order to get the fill. So we'll pack our patience there and see what we get. So nothing to do right now on MTC. It is still above the 10 exponential moving average on the 5-minute chart, but it is below $3. So that's a no good. We'll have to wait and see if we can get some higher highs over here. So that's my look there. And then last but not least, that IFRX trade, much slower of a grind. Basically, it's a lot slower. So the point is, I'm perceiving a flat top break here. I didn't size in substantially on this one. I don't think it was warranted, just given the lack of volume. So I'm going to pack my patience. And guys, I need to tell you about Trader TV Campus, man. It is brought to you, of course, by Real Trading. It is our proprietary campus to educate you guys. Yeah, a TraderTV Academy. It's our proprietary sort of design, Joey. Just give me a second over here because I don't have the script. So that's fine. I got it, Assassino. There we go. So TraderTV Academy is coming soon. We have been working relentlessly to bring you this very requested platform, and it is ready soon. We'll be covering stuff we can't always fit into the live stream, like your mindset, your psychology, as well as, of course, your risk management. Whether you're a newer trader or you're experienced, there's something valuable in it for you. So stay tuned for more information. Make sure you're subscribed as well, following us on all our social media accounts so you don't miss the launch, guys. And Brendo put in, I think Ram put a little snippet of Brendo in doing the sort of campus program and the insights he gives into his sort of evolution as a trader. And he gives real insight there, and patience is obviously something he talks about in great detail. So make sure you are following us so you can kind of get all the latest information about that, Joey. But we're very excited to launch this product, and it is a Trader TV Real Trading focused thing. So it's our in-house thing. We're not outsourcing it to anybody.
Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, I mean, I think the cycles are a little bit different there, Daniel B. 2017 post-halving year, BTC 20,000, 2018 low 3,000, 2021 69, 22 bottom 15, 2025 top. I think 1 1/4. Oh, there goes. Is that? Oh, okay. No, that's RGTZ. That's something else. What I was just saying, Daniel. Trust me, I'm the bullest of bulls when it comes to Bitcoin and everything. I don't think that's any form of a debate. Trust me, I believe in what's going on with it. I'm just saying. So it's 2024. The next halving cycle is 2028. I'm saying in between 2026 and 28 are usually typically a little bit stronger than what we're experiencing right now. That's just what I've read up on and what I've documented and looked at. So, I mean, by all means, you can most definitely say yes, something else. But trust me, you've been in it for a while. Nice work. I've been in it too. So I think we're both on the same page here. But as for Apple, that was that reload. Oops. As for Apple, that was that reload opportunity as it just dives down approximately 40 cents right away. Rehab for Bitcoin addiction? No, I had no.
What?
No, I didn't know I had it. I didn't know it was that bad.
What's happening here?
But then again, if you don't know, right? So if apparently I have the addiction, which I find
they apparently know you more than you know yourself.
Yeah. I mean, hey, man.
They know more.
To that individual. So, yeah, I'll have to inquire about that one there and take a look. I'll have to call the. Do you ever see? There's like this one. There's this one YouTube short where the guys are calling the gambling addiction hotline, and they're gambling on whether it's a female or a male who answers the phone. So yeah, they're like and then they hit. I
did see that actually.
Yeah, it's actually mad jokes.
Oh no.
Yeah. So anyways, maybe I'll do that. I placed a little bet on it as well too. But no,
don't bet with this guy. He'll take your money, bro.
I will.
Personal experience.
I was just thinking, hey man, listen. What is American Eagle is that at? Yeah, pull it up there. What is
it's working back up to 20.
No
Joey.
way. You got to get 26, right?
I know. I added that 14 and a half.
All right. So, yeah, in all seriousness, Joey, yeah. So let's see, man. I would love to add in this trade right here on AAPL because we do have a definitive base here as well, and I think that can be broken to the downside, and maybe we can head towards OP. That's going to be opening price. So patience, one more liquidity grab to the top side, and then we're going to add to this trade aggressively, considering it has taken the majority of my losses off. So may as well add to something that's working. I just know it's going to be more of a slow burner. As a momentum trader, what happened?
Let's show them. People are already asking.
About... Oh, it's not really
we
that
didn't
close,
really mean to do it like this, but this seems to happen a lot. And you got the shirt out too, bro. We got... Stop.
What do you got on the shoes, man?
I got the Docs. He's got the Chelsea's on.
Yeah.
We got... we're doing it live.
We're doing it live, man.
But this guy usually has his shirt tucked in today too, but you know.
Yeah, but I had to put the mic on and everything that. You know what I mean?
All right.
This is my opportunity to add to this Apple trade.
My bad, I'm taking profits, my boy. That's why you got to have resting orders. Why is this guy flexing? Oh, my
You know what I mean? So
gracious.
this is how we roll, man. This is how we roll. But no, in all seriousness, let's wait for an additional liquidity grab here in Apple as the market is starting to rebound a little bit, and we're getting prints as hammer candles at VWAP, so we have to be cautious on what's going on. Anything can happen, but I think this is going to act as a key resistance zone in the Qs here, Sharif, 110.87.
The market moves like the waves, always
guy.
rolling. So stay in the game. Like, subscribe.
Keep it down, Ram. I'm flexing. I'm busy flexing. Talk while I'm flexing, bro.
Bro, I had it. Honestly,
perennially mean.
My morning was a great start because I come out of my car and then Ram with her monster truck is driving into the underground and just the antenna,
huge truck,
the antenna just scraping all on top, and I couldn't.
The juxtaposition
laugh,
though
man.
of her tiny stature and her gigantic,
like the size
car
of the tire.
Is not lost on me and shouldn't be lost on anybody whatsoever. She's fantastic.
Crazy,
Get it, Ram.
Man.
Joey, you know what we're doing over here? We're doing it live on your friend MTC. We're taking Prince to the high side. What a hold at it around the 10 EMA, and there it goes again. And we just got the dip trade, guys, at 88, so I'm very pleased with this trade, but I am looking for a high day break. 315 is that high day, and most notably as well, kind of hard to see on my the white 5-minute chart here, but easier to see on the black one. Look at the lower highs. They're uninterrupted and unbroken. So even though we got a nice little bounce off that 10 EMA and we're above 3, I want to see a trend break vis-a-vis the trend above or a move above that trend line. I'm talking about MTC, and it's got 28% under its belt. We're going to Adair at the big desk.
Yeah, so to let you guys know, it looks like the wreath-laying aspect of this Veterans Day ceremony in the U.S., in Virginia, it looks like that part has finished. Now they're starting the, apparently, agenda or the actual program. Trump is scheduled to speak here. Once he begins speaking, I'll let you know. Right now, there is some singing. I will take a moment, though, to mention BFLY, which is pushing higher. Butterfly Network's posting on X that something big is coming in November 2025, which is this month. So BFLY, certainly on watch, hyping themselves up on X. Back to you.
Mas grande. What do you got, Joey?
We tried. I don't even know. I tried, man.
I tried so hard. Get it. Come on.
Okay, all right.
What do you got?
I tried. Is that Linkin Park?
No.
I heard they're having trouble.
Pretty sure it's Akon, brother.
I thought you were saying I tried so hard. Yeah. But that's Linkin Park, no?
Yeah.
I heard they're having trouble selling some tickets on some of their tour.
Speaking of tickets, you know what your boy did. You know what your boy did. I got World Cup tickets, guys. So you got to create accounts, right? And then you got to throw your hat into the ring. It's a lottery, basically. So I created 2 accounts. I could have created more, but I didn't. So 2 accounts. I threw both of them into the lottery, and they both struck. I bought the maximum amount of tickets that I could buy for all the Toronto games, and now I'm going to retire because that's what's going to happen. I'm going to sell them and make a fortune.
Oh yeah. You're gonna cash out for sure on those. Yeah, I got to get out of Liberty Village during that time.
Sorry.
Otherwise, it's gonna be. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that whatsoever. But here it is, guys. We're being patient. We're gonna post up. This was the prime time ad at 273.60, and then you get that additional move lower. But you can see it's just taking a little bit of time to get rocking and rolling. You have to be cautious of the bull flag that is being formed right now. So you have that lower high with that flat bottom and a bullish opening drive too. So So this thing can just go absolutely off to the races. But I like our chances the longer it takes to break and climb higher and volume doesn't step in, that we can get that move to the downside, Sharif.
All right, guys, MTC continuing to zig a little bit above, $3, a little bit below. Let's see if this one can kind of work its way up. But we did real well here on IFRX. Alas, it is coming back in a little bit in the 84s. Let's wet the beak. But it's still holding trend. Most notably, the higher lows are still in play. You're not getting higher highs on every successive candle, and I don't expect that. What I expected is to hold trend generally. Currently, the 10 EMA is at 180. That keeps me in the trade. I'm looking for a squeeze into 2 or thereabouts. On IFRX, it's not a big mover on the day, nor is it quick to move. It is up 15 and 4/5 with a 191 high. Let's see if this area holds. Pack in the patience. I had to get out of RDGT, most notably because, well, the $3 was kind of a really hard level to clear, and it failed at $3 with 3 different successive candles, all on the 5. One of them was a topping tail, as you can see over here, and then the other ones were just lower lows and lower highs. So it's breaking down. It's coming into the 10 EMA. This is one of those anomalous situations where the volume weighted average price is higher than the 10 EMA. That typically is not the case, but when you have a quick price spike and an aggressive price action to the upside, the volume weighted average price tracks the price closer and more, basically shadowing it more than the 10 EMA. So we'll have to wait and see what the 10 EMA does over here. Just give, you got something?
No, I'm just like, I'm living in my own world.
You're good, you're good. No, but seriously, because the question typically is, Sharif, why are you long this stock? It's below.
Right, I got it now. Sorry, but I got to interrupt you back on AAPL. We did get that reload, and we added aggressively to the downside, and we instantly, that's what I'm looking for, right? As a momentum trader, I want it to work instantly, right away, Sharif. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. Brother. No worries. So typically the question that I get on these when I'm long something that's below the volume weighted average price is, Sharif, you're breaking your rules. And yes, in a strict sense, I am. But this is one of those situations where I'm allowing, a little bit of room to maneuver. And the only reason is we got a monster price spike at 1040. This thing did all but nothing from 4 a.m. to 1040. So when it got that aggressive price spike, it had a way of screwing up, for a lack of a better term, these indicators, these moving indicators, volume weighted average price included. So basically what I'm trying to say, a really prolonged way of saying it, when we get a big price spike up and the volume weighted average price is above the 10 EMA, I'll be focusing on the 10 EMA rather than the volume weighted average price. I hope that kind of explains things. I kind of butchered that. I do apologize. Go MTC, freaking go. Into the high of the day, Joey. We wet the beak at the high of the day. You know exactly where we're going to take this. There goes 15, and we take 15s with it. We got shares on this one. Let's see if we can get an even bigger price spike up. There's 20s. We're going to wet the beak there at 19s, excuse me, and let's set up now at 25s because we all know my affinity for that number. So MTC, Monster Trade Corporation, baby. Let's see if this one can get up into 25s. Right now, it's got 22s. There's 24s, Joey. Let's see if we can pop up into 25s. We're showing 21s, and a bit of a sell order comes in. So pack in the patience on this one. Also keeping my eye very closely here on IFRX. Oh, man, we had a beak wetter at 195. It got to 194. So should have done better on my part there. Should have put a couple of more beak wetters because we got good size on IFRX as well. So we can afford to take some of these prints up here. So that's what I'm looking at right now, Joey. Those are the two I'm going to focus on. What are you looking at?
All right, man. Yeah, sports and stonks. We were worried, man. We almost had to do a welfare check just to make sure that you were all right and that you were going to be coming into the chat today. Because I don't know, we wouldn't have been operational without you, my friend. No, obviously, just joking around. Sports and stonks, our guy. But there it is, guys. That reload working out pretty good so far. If we can continue this momentum to the downside and break through the support of 272.74, which I think is going to be really important, even though we're a little bit south of that. Where I took it off at this low is going to be really important. And once again, I talked about the bull flag being formed. So it's either going to work or it's going to fail aggressively. And Rivian Millionaire brought an interesting fact is that AI, it usually, so Apple over the past couple of sessions rallies in the earlier stages of the day and then fades for the rest of it. Let's see if we can get a repeat offense of that. So Jeg, how's your day? Yeah, I mean, I'm still slightly red, but what we got going on with this is going to probably eliminate that. We're not overly worried, especially if we hit target. I'm going to wait wait for $1 or so roughly before I take anything off if we can get that. But you can see that the overall market's starting to take an aggressive downside there. What you got going on there? Oh, that's crazy. Did she send you that?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Fabian, let's do it.
Yeah, pull it up, man.
This is her. Okay, so this is the gargantuan vehicle for whatever reason that she operates. Thankfully, the plate's a little bit is not visible there, but this just shows you the difference in size. There's Ram. This is not obviously a stepping stool. That is a tire. But, you know, given her smaller stature, she's going to need that tire to get it. Ram, what were you doing there, girl? What was going on? You changing the...
Is that the day?
The fuse box.
You were changing it. Is that the day your battery died?
Your blower motor shut down.
There's a mechanic, man. This is crazy. I don't
telling you, man.
Listen, I'm not gonna get into this. But you drive this monster truck that just absolutely guzzles gas, and you drive all the way to the DVP. I don't know, man. I don't know. The math.
Don't ask questions.
The math ain't mathin', Remy.
The math ain't mathin'.
That's for sure. All right, there we go. Bang. Let's go take a little bit more on AAPL All Day Faders. What's up, everyone? I used to play hockey with a guy. His last name was Fader. So shout out to him. I wonder how he's doing. You ever think about individuals like that? I have no idea.
I got so many.
Like, just like, I wonder how that person's doing in life.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Even though I'm not that concerned. Let's go. Boom. Stone Cold Steve Austin. Well, how come I didn't hear it?
Oh.
Whoa. Stop
yeah, Fabian's not letting you have your time. Assassino's not there. Now you're going to have to deal with Fabian. Okay.
Oh, Apple is bleeding. Let's go,
that's
man.
Not good.
Yeah. I know it's not good. We're gonna take it. Bitcoin obviously getting smoked as well too. Bang, just like that. It's a fact, Jack. Mike Peter Ryder. We're just gonna continuously rock and roll on this Apple trade.
Absolutely, Joey. All right, we're going to wet the beak on some more IFRX, excuse me. Still waiting for that 95 beak wetter to get filled. Not quite there. But let's get back to RDGT. So, you know, this one is a fast mover, so I don't want to neglect this one lest it, you know, really rock it up. So look at this, guys. It's 1, 2, 3, actually 4 candles, all of which have defended the 10 EMA. The 10 EMA will always be green, the green line on my black charts. And so this is really interesting me here, despite the fact that, you know, we've definitely showed some selling when we got above VWAP. But I'm looking for this candle here to close and to close above the prior candle. So prior bar low is 257, current bar low 262. If this candle, which has I think 4 minutes left because it just opened, holds above this candle, the prior candle, we're going to get long there. So we'll pack our patience, see what we get, and in the meantime, we're going to go to Adair at the big desk for the crypto segment.
We're just going to look at some daily charts here on Bitcoin and Ethereum. BTC here continue to make these lower highs, lower lows off of this new all-time high above that 126,000 level. Now it's been over a month since we last made that all-time high. And this daily chart here has been kind of consolidated. We were forming a bit of a base around that 99 level, currently held up, but right now we're struggling to get back above that level of 107,000, 108,000, which was for a time deemed as pretty key support. So it'll be interesting to see how we hold up around this level. Ethereum looking almost identical here to BTC, forming a support level, but other than that, continue to make these lower highs, lower lows. Take a look at Cardano and XRP. Cardano continuing to have this, I would say, kind of continued push to the downside as well. And we'll take a look here as well at, we'll do Solana and then XRP to end this segment. Solana, almost exact same look here as Bitcoin. Clear base for Solana, it was around 146. We get back to that 170 level of previous support, and then we push lower, and we'll take a look at XRP, USD. XRP a little bit more, I would say, almost sideways than straight up and down, like what we're seeing with Bitcoin, Ethereum, some of these other names. But the long story short, guys, is a lot of these crypto plays are finding support on the daily, and they're now turning into resistance. Let's see if this pattern continues. But either way, interesting look across the spectrum of some of these closely watched crypto names as we send you back to Joe and Sharif. I do want to remind you guys, we are set to have Trump speak at some point, I think likely sometime soon. During this Veterans Day ceremony, they've introduced some members of a committee. There have been songs. Once we see him on the podium, we'll keep you posted. Back to you.
Hey, Tony. Danny. Yeah. All right. There's a guy that works with us. I know his name is Tony. Yeah. I don't think I've ever called him Tony.
Oh, yeah?
In the last like 5 years. It's always Tony.
Tony.
He's Italian. And one of his friends showed up one day, and it was just like, that was like, Tony, come grab this. Tony, come grab that. So I went with it, Joey. Yeah. All right, shout out to Tony. Look, he's talking about shorting Tesla. You know, I don't really get involved in these large caps, but let's take a look at TSLA for the man. Oh, no, Joey, this is blood in the streets here on Tesla. And even when it broke trend and it tried to weasel back up to get VWAP, it sorely failed. Look, I don't know what the hell Tesla is doing today. I don't know why we're selling off 2 3/4. Market's weak. I personally don't see trend here. I see bamboozlement over here. Like, what is this 436.5? Okay, we interacted with it a little bit on the way down at around 10 o'clock, but it's not an area that I would have been looking for on the time frame. So I don't know how you see Tesla, but I'll have to digress from that for a second, because go MTC, go. We got 88s, we just took out 28. So this one's all sorts of strong. Now we're gonna wait at 33. We're gonna look for that continuation to the high side. And I gotta also mention this one, RDGT. Remember we were talking about this candle having 4 minutes left to close? Well, it's maintained its price above prior bar low. Again, prior bar low, 257. Current bar low, when we just closed, is at, the prior bar now, 262. It's showing me 77s. So here's the deal. We're going to get back into this one, and we're going to give it to prior bar low now that a new candle's opened up. And that low is 62, so we'll risk a little bit there. So we'll give to 59s, 259, and then we'll have to give it some room because it is quite spready. So what do we get on that? We got 76s. We're already out of the money. Oh, no, we're not. We just pop back up. So there's the 80s print. Let's go wait a little bit higher as well and see if we can get a nice move into $3. I like the fact that it held prior bar. And, you know, the fact that it's holding the 10 EMA as well. So unless I get shaken out of this one, and it's entirely possible, I think we could make yet another attempt at 3. We'll have to wait and see. Up 30%. I'm talking about RDGT.
All right, good stuff there, brother. So I'm looking at some things across the board. Gaurav and I are like, that's not good. But I mean, it's good that we're looking at the same things. But when we do, our percentage as a complete unit isn't overly high. So we want to keep that accuracy as high as possible. Now, as for AAPL, could this be a potential bottom here, guys? Volume not necessarily supporting what we would want to look for on an isolated pivot right here. And there's still a little bit of selling pressure. If you want to take that trade, go ahead, Gaurav. I'm going to rock and roll here in some AAPL. Obviously, I'm just going to sit here and tell you I wish I had significantly more size, but that's not the case. We executed pretty good on this trade. Boom, short off of that top indecision print at the highs. We get that move. We hold into the volume weighted average price. You get that additional liquidity grab. Boom, we take that additional move to the sell side. Yes, what's going on, Denise? Michelle, hope everything is going on. I hope everything is going well over there, I guess I should say.
Get it,
now,
Denise.
only success we have together is that NV. No, we got a lot more, brother. Trust me. That doesn't go unnoticed. And I mean, if we continuously take the stabs, we'll crush it over time. But aside from that, let's take a look at some of the top volume tickers on the day. I'm specifically, geez, I can't speak today. I specifically am looking to write again some options contracts, considering December 25th, 24 days out from now. On those 65s, I can collect 72 whopping dollars per contract, which I like. We'll just continuously chip away at some of those losses. And then once we start to appreciate, then it's cash money after that. But aside from that, let's go and take a look at some of these names. We'll go over the top performing sectors later on in the session. But right now we got NVDA, pumping in a 79.7 million shares traded on the session. There, CLSK right over here, not too good of a look. SQQs definitely in play, but this is chop, man. I do not thrive in these overlapping candle type markets. I need a nice steady trajectory, and I am typically a momentum player. There goes Apple taking an additional nosedive. This is exactly what we want to see, Sharif. Okay. That signal failing and putting in a potential low. All right, Wabbit.
What happened?
All right, Wabbit. Let me read this first. Nah, it doesn't even matter. Joey, per history, post having BTC tops 550 days or less, this would be October 2025. If it runs up into 26, which most think it will, that extends cycle. Okay, very interesting. Do I understand it completely? Absolutely not. But I'm going to take your word for it, Wabbit, and thank you very much for that.
Crazy Wabbit.
Yeah, crazy Wabbit, silly Wabbit. But thank you very much for that super chat. No, in all seriousness, guys,
Yes,
listen, you know where I stand on that, right? Like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'm a bear in Bitcoin because that's not necessarily the case. But what I typically think is that there's something going on behind the scenes, and I'm thinking more along the lines of mass distribution between individuals who have been holding in Bitcoin in their wallet for more than 5 years and selling that all to institutions. And what I was talking to Sharif about the other day is that there's only so many, I think there's less than 5 exchanges that have 150,000 Bitcoin on their books. So there's not very much of this stuff left. And then I believe the 2028 halving cycle is when you actually start to receive less than a full Bitcoin or a fractional, an extreme fractional amount. And I have to double check on that and read through some things. But aside from that, there we go. Another partial out on AAPL. What do you got?
All right, RDGT is breaking out. Here we go. There's $3. We got 76 on. I love the way that this was setting up off the 10 EMA. Watch for a 3 rejection, though. We've had a lot of trouble with 3. It's a 308 high, and here's $3 again, and there's the selling again. Take profits, guys. Wet that beak. Don't, hold all this unrealized and then have it stop you out. Take profits along the way, I should say. Shout out to my man Neil, who always says nobody ever went broke taking profits, baby. We're going back to the big desk.
Trump is now taking the podium, guys. Apparently, U.S. President Donald Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance have both arrived at this event. They're walking up right now, joining the procession. Once he actually begins uttering words and speaking, once his speech begins, I'll keep you guys posted on that too. But looks like he's now at the event as we send you back to Joe and Sharif.
Hey guys, we're taking prints still, waiting for that $3 break. It's rejecting at 3. We got 99s, which was nice, right? But now I'm waiting at the quite lofty area of 3 1/4. That would be 50 pennies by definition if we get that last remaining amount on this $3 lane. Let's see if we can work up there. We're really accumulating up a storm here at this $3 area. Whether or not we take it decisively and take it on a closing basis, we'll have to wait and see. But it's a great hold off the 10 EMA. There was a lot of zig and zag, at that level. It was wicking below it, so I hope nobody had their stop right below the 10 EMA. As we know, ones that halt like this, it behooves you to really give it a little bit of room. But that's always a subjective question. How much room and where? I don't really have a good answer to that. You're going to have to figure out your own strategy. I try to base it off, what I see is moving or like how much it's moving. So I say for example, look, the 10 EMA, I'm just giving you any numbers, is at 270. But this thing's moving 15, 20 pennies at a time. Is it valid to put it at 265? Is it only going to range a couple of pennies, 5, 6 pennies below a key area of technical support? If the answer to that is no, then you have to give it some room. Otherwise, you're just asking to get stop hunted either by design or because of the volatility. So RDGT, I'm waiting at 3 1/4, very alive to the fact that we have 3 resistance, nothing doing there. MTC, we're still holding a piece for the dream, man. We got 88s here. It's showing me 20s. Best print we've got is 27s. Up 33.33%. Gotta love that. And then IFRX right back up into 90s we go. With the best print we've got on this monster is 92. So we're waiting at 95, but I think I'm gonna be a little bit more frugal here and wet the beak a little bit lower to see if we can take some more off the table. It's already showing me 92s, but it's got to cross a few hundred lots here coming in at that level. Okay, back. Sorry, I'm going to have to digress between all these. RDGT is concerning me now. Reason is it's got 2 candles, all of which wick off 3 and rejected. That is not what I want. We're going to get out here for the last remaining amount, and here's what my plan is going to be. If we get above and stay above $3, and I'm talking about a 5-minute candle closing above $3, we're gonna get back involved, but I don't wanna have to deal with this rejecting $3 with lower highs, and that's exactly what we're getting. We're getting lower highs. Highest candle on the day, 11 o'clock, that's the 308 high. Then you have a double top candle at 11:05 and 11:10, neither of which make it back to 308. They're all 305 highs. And then we get that same pesky double top and the 11:35 and the 11:40 candles that reject 3. So lower high, lower high, lower high. If it wants to clear 3, we can have a conversation. Otherwise, staying clear.
All right, good looks. Steer clear I'm not going to say a Palantir because that thing has been really good. That was my old saying when I used to trade this thing back at the old.
Yeah, before it was $5,000 a share, and yeah, I know.
Bro,
right?
this thing was like 13. It was like when I was trading, it was like 12 bucks, 10 bucks, and everything along those lines. All right, let's do it. Let's do this here.
What are you doing?
Let's get rocking and rolling, man. Additional, some more off here on AAPL as it puts in a new low, not new low of the day, a new 5-minute low. We like this.
I like
Man, boom, exactly where the money at. Show me that. Show me the money.
You want to see it?
You have it?
Oh, my bad. I know.
All right, well, no, I wasn't actually. I thought you were gonna show me some actual physical money, man.
Bro, I haven't carried paper bills in a hot minute.
Really?
You got paper bills on you?
I got $5.
You how much?
$5.
You got $5. All
Yeah.
right,
I got and some American dollars. Got those. I got that.
Dollar bill, yo. Dollar bill.
But no, in all seriousness, guys, there goes Apple. It's definitely going to be one of our better trades of the day. So unfortunately, we just didn't execute with a little bit more size. But what we got going on right now, it's just I'm pretty much flat on the day, which is something that we were looking to aim towards. And I mean, this name is definitely tough to short. But aside from that, guys, let's head over and take a look at the top performing. Oh, you know what? Jody Mills told me that she is a twin as well.
That's crazy.
Yeah, Jody Mills is a twin.
Who's as well?
Well, because I guess we were twinning, and then she's saying that she was, yeah. There you go.
Jody. Are you fraternal or identical, Jody?
Oh, my boy, one of my good friends just had twins as well, too. One boy, one girl. Yeah.
Do you know that I think you can actually select?
You can do that stuff now?
Yeah, I think Ronaldo, didn't he do that, man, with Georgina or whatever?
I don't know if they did that, but yeah, unfortunately, one didn't.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I totally forgot about that. That's when he was with United. Thank you for reminding me about that, Joe.
One didn't.
I'm pretty sure you can select, I don't know, man.
I mean, genetically mutate your child. I mean, I would if I could, to be honest with you.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Genetically mutate?
Yeah, well, I mean.
You mean like genetic selection?
Yeah, selection. Yeah. I mean, you're still changing. It's not like a mutant.
Mutant Ninja Turtles over here.
Yeah, no, we don't want any of that stuff. But maybe make him a freak, too, just like 6'7", just a large. Oh God. I didn't even mean to say that. I'll get that guy in the NBA or something like that. No, but in all seriousness, energy, guys, is leading the way on the session, 1.6% to the top side. Healthcare sitting in that second place, approximately 1.5%. Now, as for the consumer staples, we're up 1%. The bottom three, we're looking at the industrials, down a little bit less than 1/5%. Consumer discretionary. Man, you guys can. This is insane.
7.
Everyone's
Did you
saying.
see the member of parliament? She's from Montreal.
No.
And she's like, yeah, we did like 6 to 7% higher year over year. 6-7, Mr. Speaker.
No.
Yeah, bro, it was hilarious. This is our parliament,
fire that
man.
individual immediately. All right, consumer discretionary, guys, down about 0.25%. And then we got the tech sector down 1.25%. So those are the best and the worst performing on the day. And honestly, I don't know if this is going to be the prime time session for bottom picking. So shout out to all the bottom feeders like my side. That's a little. Maybe I shouldn't say that. But anyways, TQs, it is starting to curl off of these lows. As Gorv is involved, you want to get involved with that lower end of the range, and you have to risk approximately 50 cents until you determine that you are wrong or not, Sri.
Yes, sir. Okay. Guys, here we are on IFRX. I'm waiting for that 92 print, man. There keeps coming in a seller at 92. I don't know what this obsession with 92 is for this seller, but that's the area they've earmarked, and that's the area we're going to have to deal with here. So I'm looking for continuation into 2. I'm trying to decide if I want to add at the 10 EMA because I want to show you guys the black charts, and every time we dip down into that 10 EMA, we end up with a bottoming tail candle that defends it clean. Now, that's the good news. The bad news is we're not really putting in any higher highs, man. This 194 high is staunchy little bugger. In fact, we're putting in 2 lower highs. Area high, and another lower high there. Up 19.62. Not a bad look. Packing the patience on this one. I'm also packing the patience on MTC. Coming into the 10 EMA again. And the decision is here, do I add at the 10 EMA? Now, the 10 EMA happens to also overlap with the previous area of price action resistance. I'm talking about that 312, 314, 315 area. and then goes down into that area and gets bought right back up. Above 320 we go, showing 21s here. Let's see if we can take out 28 on MTC. That's where the high of the day is. I'm waiting at 33s on this monster, but I don't think it's quite forthcoming as of yet. I just realized I forgot to show you guys all the other names that I had on my side charts there. I've talked about RDGT ad nauseum. ENGN. This one really had a lot of strength in the pre. 730, 735, whatever, rockets up all the way up into about 1091. That's the pre-market high. Then take a gander at what we did at 1010. That breaches the pre-market high, but we're talking about negligible amounts here. And then quickly to retrace right back down below the volume weighted average price and an unbroken lower high. So my move is on ENGN, you show me a print or two above 10, maybe 1025, and we get right back involved. So by definition and by rule, I can't trade this until it moseys back above the 10 or the volume weighted average price. But that's not going to be the standard upon which I apply to ENGN. It will be a 10 break or 10 and a quarter, depending on what I see, only because I don't want to have to be dealing with lower highs. I need that trend change of higher highs to manifest. If it doesn't, I don't trade it. Simple as that. DTCK, we talked about this one ad nauseum last week or the week before, whatever. It had a nice little move, 930, kind of looked like it was going to bull flag, then it crapped the bed, and now it's below VWAP and may lose its spot on the side chart any moment. Captain, shout out to Captain America. This one also had the same thing, 950 bump. It was trading at like 74 pennies, pops up to 116, gives up the entire ghost. Unbroken trend of lower highs. In fact, looking like a flat bottom break through 85. I want nothing to do with this one. Chegg, CHGG holding VWAP, which is also pre-market high resistance. I'm talking about that 105, 106 area. Again, you're suffering from the same affliction the other ones are suffering from, which are lower highs. And it looks like maybe a flat bottom break in the making here at 105, 104, whatever. It doesn't interest me either way. SOC. This is the one that I missed, and I should have been more alive to this. This is a good-looking bull flag, and how high it was trading above VWAP, and it's maintained its price above VWAP for the most part, should have been the alert for me. In fact, it comes to VWAP right at 690 to a T and holds it, and then immediately straight to jail or whatever. Rockets up back to 713, now looking to take out the area high there at 723. So SOC, a miss by me. I should have been more alive to that. We'll look to do a little bit better. So IFRX, the one we're involved in, RDGT, MTC, and I'm now looking at finagling an entry into SOC if it is warranted. If there are any small cap gappers that are moving, guys, that meet my sort of rules that I think you guys know, please tag myself or Joseph so we can, take a look at it. I know a lot of you do already, but I'm just telling for the ones that don't. So it's hard to be able to see everything all at one time, especially when things pop up on the scanner and don't really spend all that much time there. Joey, I just got before I send it to you, RDGT is taking out the $3. It's at the high of the day. I think it just took out the high, 309. There goes RDGT into area highs. It's up 46% now. It's having a lot of trouble. Look at this hot garbage. Ooh. It prints a 309 print, tanks, Joey, to 282. Probably stops out everybody, unless you're really, quite aggressive in your stop placement. This is so bamboozling here on RDGT. That's quite frustrating. So you're gonna have to really be aware of that. If you're gonna trade RDGT, you got to be ready for these. I mean, just monster price moves to the downside. I don't know how to enter and manage risk on this because it's just so insane. 309 high drops to the bar low of 282. Probably stops a lot of people unless you had your stop at prior bar low. If you did, it was 275. You didn't get stopped out, but that wouldn't have been my move. Adam says, hi, bro.
What's up, bro?
Get it, Adam. Hope you're doing well, brother. You see that? You see Raya come out of the net there, Adam? What do you make of that? I don't want to blame Gabrielle, but I'm looking for somebody to blame, Adam. And I don't think David Raya should have been coming out of the net. He cost us 3 points, Joey. Ooh. We ended up getting one there with Sunderland. I hate playing at the Stadium of Light, bro. Stadium of Light, Sunderland Stadium. They're Northern English team, and they're rowdy AF. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. They come, and every game is a playoff game for these guys. I remember they've been relegated to the championship for a hot minute, but before they did, they had some of the rowdiest fans, and I knew going in it was going to be a tough game. And freaking City, of course, has to win on the weekend.
You're not even allowed to drink in those stadiums anymore.
No,
right?
no, you are, but they cut it off at halftime.
Okay,
so
at halftime. So it's like us here, right? Like third period hockey.
Exactly.
You ain't getting no more of that stuff. Even though it's not like the Scotiabank Pond is the most rowdy place on the planet either. What did Gorev say?
I hate every stadium right now. We ain't winning, even at Anfield. Sorry, Neil.
Sorry, Neil. Jack, Gorev, as part of the next leg up in the market meta is one is going to create a new all-time high. If you guys hold on to it, you're going to make some. Yeah, I mean, that's the intention of that one.
Bro.
I think we have Raul's getting blocked.
Yeah, he's saying the same thing you were saying.
Yeah, I know. That's my boy.
London's not blue, bro.
Can't play blue.
Straight block there, Joey. There goes MTC into the area high. Joey, we just took out my order at 33s. It is a high of day now of 39. We have 88s on. MTC looking the best of the bunch right now in the world of small cap gappers, guys. Much less bamboozling than that hot garbage RDGT. And I don't really mean it's hot garbage. It's just very, very volatile. But MTC, Joey, taking out highs. We're putting some prints now. There it is. Now right back into that 35 penny area. I'm going to go ahead and wait. I'm going to wait at 45 here for an attempt at the $0.50. So my next move is going to be to try to add into the 10 EMA. The 10 EMA currently on MTC showing me 314, 315, something like that. We're going to throw it in an order here to shadow the 10 EMA, Joey.
All right, something like that. Yeah, so I got my eyes on a couple of things as the TQs curl right back over. There is a resistance zone that we're experiencing right around 110.40 roughly at that level. But then there's a nice indecision print at these lows on Tesla that's kind of catching my eye. We already struck, well, I mean, we took one break even and one loss on Tesla. So other than that, I mean, this might be able to come into play, especially if that 432 is going to hold. Let's take a look at the chain to see if we can notice any definitive amounts of open interest or potential put or call walls. I'd be like, no, we're not going in that direction. Now, as for Tesla, any pullback, I might get involved. But honestly, I just think the sellers are in control of today's session. I think that's been displayed clearly. So fighting it and trying to grab a retracement back to VWAP might be a little bit more difficult and a slower of a grind. On this week's expiration cycle, 54.3% at the money IB. Nothing relatively crazy. I mean, we've seen it substantially higher there. But now let's take a look at some of the OI. This might come into play 450. Let's see what the actual high of the day was, 441. So it's not even really close. 42.5 is something that you want to keep an eye out on. As for the put activity, oh, wow, that's all the way down at 400. I don't think that's going to be the case. You want to be writing those all day. And sometimes when I show you guys, like in the case of Apple, when something's that cheap and you only have a couple of days, and I believe it was what was it? Anyways, it was a specific strike price in which I was referring to. It was only worth around $70. Write those. Those are writings for sure, because by the time of it closing above that, by the end of the expiration, is relatively low. If there were lots of puts seeing in Tesla today, what I saw on the flow, yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, it makes a lot of sense, Ozan as well, too. But we're still cooking up in AAPL, guys. We went over some of the other names. I told you it's more precision, more or less for me. But now I'm just looking for the continuation of the trend and some good opportunities. And if we read those pullbacks, it's important to keep an eye on the volume profile. So you can see the strength within some of these candle prints, right? So boom, the strength is to the downside. And every time that we buy back up, you see more wicks, and the width of the value of the bodies is substantially lower. And then you get the stair stepping down in the volume profile as well too, in those bullish prints, which can add to just a little bit more conviction in following what the trend is exactly up to. Now, as for everything else, guys, I can talk about Apple all day. We don't want to do that. We want to continuously look for some new opportunities. Considering I told you I was slightly red earlier in the session, but with this, with small potatoes now, it's just a matter of time and one prime time entry, and then we're right back into this game. Yesterday was a pretty good start to the week, and we want to continue that. And with that being said, for me, that's less trades, more precision, higher probabilities, and that's what we're looking for. There goes Apple Street, taking an additional move to the downside. 271.88. Is it going to break through this support level? We'll try to grab something around 271.60s. Speaking of, let's just post up there. So we're just going to be a little bit ahead of that. So, dude, whoa. We don't want to do that, my friend. Yeah, we don't want to hit any buttons or get in the wrong neck of the woods. 271.60. 60. Bang, and we'll take a little bit off there, 33% of my remaining position. It did not go. Order rejected. All right, so we'll just wait and then we'll marketable limit out because I don't want to have to type all that in once again. But other than that, Sharif, I'm sitting on my hands. There goes the Qs, right back down. This candle, I don't think it's going to hold up relatively long. Key support levels at that 110. Once it snaps, you have yesterday's low of the day that may be in the works, and I think that's going to be a primary target to keep an eye out for, especially if we continue on the path that we are. NVDA bleeding as well. I talked about the 205s as potential writings, I believe on Monday. I think that's going to be a great opportunity. Those 205s not going to come and play by the end of this week, and maybe not even next week, but this indecision print right there, I was like, I think this is a little bit of a bull trap because we've seen it across on multiple names, and that's going to be on AMD as well. You do get a nice pop to the top side, 10, 13 points, but you're starting to fill that gap in, and if this floor breaks at 222, I'm going to suspect that we're going to head more to the downside, and watch out for that 202 to 170 to be partially filled. I think this previous pivot high of 187 is something to keep an eye out for, and I'm going to particularly in AMD.
All right, guys, look, MTC's coming into the 10 EMA. It was a pretty aggressive sell. I'm not adding here. I want to see what it does at 3. It's not holding the 10 EMA anyway. $3 is the 20 as well as the volume weighted average price. It's also psychological support. We have 88s on here. Let's see if it holds 3. That's what I'm waiting to see right now. If it comes in at 3 and it holds, we'll get in. We don't have to get in super quick. Show me 08s. By the way, shout out to Grant Ratcliffe asking me NRGV. It's not bad, Grant. What is this? This is 945, so that's an official high there. 485 high, Grant. Look, you were basically on a pretty aggressive downtrend that you sort of have broken, but you're right at that area where we were catching, you know, sell orders. Basically from 1005 all the way to 1035, we were trying to get through this 4 2/3 with, you know, no success. And there you go. Look at this candle here, 1155, topping tail candle, inverse. It looks like, you know, a candle of a reversal candle is what I'm trying to say, excuse me. And here, now this candle's red. Let's just wait and see if this one wants to trend. If it wants to trend above 70, 75, I don't think we need to be first. But yeah, looking at it as well, you could also try to catch a bit of a dip trade, Grant, maybe out 55, excuse me. That's where the 10 EMA is hanging out. It seems to be respecting the 10 EMA, you know, with varying degrees of respect over here at 1115 once it reclaimed it. It's not my favorite, though. I got to tell you the truth. I'm going to keep it on the side chart. We're going to take off CAPT. We're going to put on NRGV. If this starts catching a bid, I'll absolutely get involved. But until then, we're going to have to pack the patience. All right, guys, it is time for Happening Now. And then Neil's got his lesson of the day.
About a minute or so ago, U.S. President Donald Trump took the podium at this Veterans Day event. He has only been speaking about veterans, and again, of course, there's never any expectation anything he says will be market related, especially at this type of event. But either way, it is worth noting the ceremony is happening and he has begun speaking. I do want to talk here about this Nasdaq, which Neil mentioned earlier, fairly range bound. It is worth noting right now, pretty consolidated here, pretty choppy still for that Nasdaq 100. I do want to talk about these chip names because without a doubt, a lot of these names in the semiconductor space were, and for good reason, should have been on watch today. Now, we have Nvidia here. NVDA is certainly in the spotlight after SoftBank revealed via a filing that they offloaded their Nvidia position. Again, over $5 billion worth of NVDA. Now, AMD is on watch. They're set to have their financial analyst day at 1 p.m. Eastern. To my knowledge, there is no YouTube stream for this. I've already signed up for their web stream, so I'll be at the event webcast. Definitely check out that live here on the TraderTV Live midday show because I'll be giving you guys all the coverage you need of that event. Also, tons of earnings still. Here's Beyond Meat. You can find this infographic as you can find all these infographics on X at TTV Research. But Beyond Meat here, revenue beat, EPS miss, and very disappointing guidance for Q4 2025 as the company continues to warn about uncertainty in its operating environment. Earnings also here, we had CoreWeave, we had RGTI, we had BBAI, we had Paramount Skydance, GEMI, the list goes on and on. Now tonight with Sean and myself, we will be giving you Oklo earnings live, so definitely do not miss those local earnings reports. And again, we'll be covering that right here from this desk. You don't need to go anywhere. But we do have to go over to Neil soon. We're going to do that in a minute after I thank our friends at Origenics, because each year 3.8 million concussions are reported in the U.S. But yet there is still no FDA-approved treatment. NYSE listed Origenics, or OGEN, is changing that with its first-in-class intranasal drug, designed for for rapid brain access. With the concussion treatment market projected to reach $8.9 billion by 2027, Origenics is uniquely positioned to lead the way. So learn more. Schedule a meeting today. Origenics, thank you to OGEN, and thank you very much to Neil, who's going to give us his lesson of the day. Neil, give the people their lesson.
I shall, Adair, and I'm going to switch it up a little bit with the lesson of the day. There's an analogy that I've used many times in trading, and I remember something was told to me, I think, while I was a trainee. If you remember when we had a podcast for the show, the CEO of Real Trading was on that podcast, and he used this analogy as well. And essentially what it boiled down to was this. If I gave you a proposition, any of you out there, any of you traders out there, and I simply said to you, I'm going to pay you $1 for every basket that you score in the next hour. Now, here's the thing about this proposition. I'm going to, don't look at the chart, you're spoiling it. I'll just tell you when to get to my screen. It doesn't really matter. I'm not going to tell you any other condition other than you are going to get that dollar for every time you were able to put the ball in the hoop. But here's where the trick comes in. I'm going to give you 3 options. You can play against LeBron James. You can play against, I don't know, like myself or Sharif. Just throwing some names out there. Or you can play against a 10-year-old child. Now, which one would you choose? If you have all the money in the world, I absolutely defend the choice that you want the life experience of going up against LeBron James. I think that would be unbelievable. But if your only goal is to simply score buckets, anybody that's not choosing the 10-year-old child is kind of a fool. And this is the thing about trading. I get it where everyone wants to make money trading, but you have to be open-minded to what's actually happening in the market. If you choose to trade, say, the futures, if you choose to trade the Qs, if you choose to trade the big cap names, those are the highest covered names, those are the highest algo volume names, those are the highest analyst rated names, those are the heaviest institutionally traded names, and therefore understand that you are going up against the best. I'm not saying you can't make money doing it, but you are going up against the best. Sometimes you want to find your best chances on trades that people aren't paying attention to as much. And I'm going to show you the compare your profits for today. And we did this a couple of other days where it was all Amex, and we thought that it was BMNR. Yesterday at Real Trading, it was all TSX, TSX Venture, TSX, someone Amex and Nasdaq, probably Amex, TSX, TSX Venture, CSE, some Nasdaq, TSX, TSX Venture, CBOE, Canada. A lot of TSX opportunities. And 2 days ago, it was all Amex on here. But what I'm getting at is a lot of traders that are consistently profitable, it's not about, I'm not telling you to go trade Amex or trade TSX. What I am hoping that you're open-minded enough to do is look for alternative opportunities in things that aren't just big and mega cap, if they work for you. I saw Sharif trading MTC today. Now, how many trades on 11 million shares worth of volume? Do you think this is highly analyst covered? Probably not. You think there's a lot of big institutions trading this? Probably not. When this breaks out yesterday's high, right in here at about 10, what's it called, 1020, look where it pulls back into. I mean, technically, like how often are you going to see an Apple do something like this? Where like it breaks out and then the first available dip goes right into the prior high and then cleanly ramp jobs it and then goes right into another resistance level, breaks that out and then pulls back and then again ramps up from that same level. Do you think you'd see that happen on Tesla? Maybe, probably not. And I'm not saying you must trade this stock or something like it. I'm just providing you with examples. I'll give you another example. This is a SPAC that opened up today. Now, for most traders, you're like, but what could you possibly do with this? If you're over at Real Trading, the opportunities, and I'm going to show you what happened on the opening print of said SPAC. This is when it opened up. I took the opening print. Turns out we couldn't get locates on it, so getting out of it when you couldn't throw multiple orders was kind of a pain in the butt. But essentially, with it out at the actual open, it was just a quick shot up. And then if you were able to catch this bottom bid here at 13, it was another couple penny moves up. Look at the liquidity on this. Like you're out, like getting into this, and trust me, you could have anything you wanted at that opening print. Getting out of it is zero problem, even just getting out at the same price you got in, just to even capture a cent or two. So there's some traders that do things like that. My point is, be open-minded. If you are really good at trading the Teslas of the world, the Nvidias of the world, that's absolutely fantastic. What I am here to tell you is over 20 years, the traders who are consistently profitable, from the discipline side, I've gone over that a million times in the lesson of the day, the things that they tend to have. But from the looking for winners aspect of it, they are constantly willing to try and trade whatever might be the best and highest probability. If it's a small capper, it's a small capper. If it's an IPO trade, it's an IPO trade. If it's an open trade, it's an open trade. If it's a closed trade, it's a closed trade. If it's Europe, it's Europe. Brazil, Toronto, whatever it might be. And I'm not saying not everybody has access to all those markets just because we do at Real Trading. But it could be as simple as, hey, there's a stock going crazy that's a small capper and is trending much better than any of this choppy mess you're seeing in the futures or elsewhere. Maybe that's something you want to put into your toolbox, or at least do nothing until you can figure those types of things out. It's that willingness to try new things. You know, there's a trader, and he's probably not watching right now. He tunes in sometimes in the morning, and you've heard me shout him out before. He's the first trader, I think, in Real Trading to do really well on Blue Ocean. I saw someone in the chat this morning say Blue Ocean's a dead market. Someone comes in with 500 shares and it moves the stock. I'm here to tell you that the most profitable traders at Real Trading on Tesla and Nvidia are in Blue Ocean. More money gets made trading in Blue Ocean on these names than in the regular day. And I get it, it's not for everybody. And I know the trader that does it, he's a friend of mine. And he's always been, and what I can tell you about him is, every time I would do settlements at the end of the month, he'd be a big pain in my ass. Why? Because every single possible currency and market that we had, he traded them all. So doing his settlement took as long as doing everybody else's. But you know what? He was always trying new things, and that's why he's consistently profitable. You hear Sean and myself talk about how few traders make it. There's a guy who's a chameleon and willing to adapt at all times. He never rests on his laurels. And he's not just sitting there saying, oh, you're not a real trader if you don't trade the Qs. Or you're not a real trader if you don't trade Nvidia. Every single trader that I've ever heard say that is not a profitable one. 100% of them. I've never heard a trader mock other styles of trading that is a consistently profitable trader. Not once in over 20 years has that been a true statement. So this is not to, I'm not ragging on any particular style over another, but I do think you need to be open-minded in terms of what can bring you success and trying to find the path of the least resistance to becoming a profitable trader. As I said, if it's small caps, it's small caps. If it's gimmicky trades like some SPAC open or an IPO open, then hammer those. Yesterday I talked, when Cation was halting, I talked about a trader who made bank for, I think it was almost about a year and a half, doing nothing but maxing out when there would be some crazy halt stock. And he had a halt strategy. And he wouldn't do anything if stocks weren't halting. And then if it was crazy halters, he was all over that for that day. Whatever works, you should be doing it. Your goal as a trader is to make money, not to feel smart, not to feel like you've beaten the markets, not to feel like you've made the right call. As a matter of fact, all the best traders I know that make the most money aren't even trying to make calls. Calls do not make money. Trades make money. And trades are simply about buying something and making more money at the end when you sell it, or vice versa. How you do that, so long as you follow the market rules, is completely irrelevant, and that's what experience has taught me. So I hope that lesson helps everybody. I was thinking about that when we talked about that Cation last night, and then seeing Sharif trade it's MPC, right? MTC. Seeing Sharif trade that MTC, I'm like, that's trending better than any stock that I'm looking at today. So why not be on it? So good luck, everybody. Hopefully the market rebounds. It's a heck of a lot more fun when it goes up. So I'm hoping we can get green here. Not that I have anything long, but silver. Good luck, everybody. That's your lesson of the day.
All right. That's all you can do, really.
That was hot fire, bro.
Yeah, man, that's all you can do.
I'm trying to go long Neil over here, but there's no Neil.NQ, Joey. I've been, there's no Neil.NQ, no Neil.NY.
Is there an NR?
Sure, over here.
Is there an NR?
There's no Neil.AM. I mean, we're trying to go long Neil over here, guys. We're spelling it wrong. Eddie IL. Oh. Let's see if there's a Neil.NQ. No, man, we keep getting shafted. Shout out to Neil, man. Dropping hot fire, guys. That's the kind of wisdom you're going to get every single day on Neil's lesson of the day. So make sure you're with us around lunchtime, because that's exactly what Neil's dropping constantly. Thank you very much, Neil, for that. I know Joey and I were listening quite intently to that lesson. All right, Joey, I got back into MTC. It's a 3-bar hold at the moment here at the volume weighted average price after a big drop from that 339 high. There we go. Now we just got a print there at 04s. Now I'm waiting at 10s. We gave back a little bit over, not me, but the actual stock itself, giving back off that 339 high right back down into 3. And it's having trouble with 3, Joey, quite frankly. It's not clearing it with any decisive move. So I've given it to current bar low. Current bar low, guys, is 93. So we'll see what we get. We'll see if we can pop up, maybe take something into the $0.25. We'll see on this bad boy. IFRX, I caught the dip trade on this one. I had a pre-existing resting order to defend the volume weighted average price. We caught it, but it's not rocketing up. So it's a good out right now. We've got a couple of beak letters, but we're not talking about big price moves over here. So I'd like for some of these orders on the top side to get triggered. I've layered them. IFRX, a good name on the day. It's not really a rocket ship, 14% or thereabouts. We'll see if this one can work its way back into 194. What's going on, Ram? Don't worry about it. I'm not supposed to ask anything. All right, everything's good, says Brendel. As long as Brendel tells me, then I believe. As Ram tells me, I don't believe.
Yeah, I believe her. Because you know why?
She's been known to fib a little bit every now and again. You know what I mean? A little fibber here and there.
I think she's a straight shooter.
Straight shooter?
Yeah.
Where? In the bizarre world? That's crazy.
I mean, she gave me chocolate-covered almonds. Okay. She gave me her garlic stick the other day.
She gave you garlic stick. She went and got you a garlic stick.
She gave me hers, and then she went and got herself one.
Oh, wow. That's the kind of treatment only Joey Options gets.
Yeah, that's what we get, man.
I certainly don't get anything that nice from her. Look at her again, bro. She's so sinister.
Yeah. All right, man. Joey, yeah, I love food.
What do you got, Joey?
Yeah, she's, or she, I don't know why I'm bringing that up. Okay, Tesla. There we go. Gather our thoughts. Woo saw. Get back in the game. Back in the game. We're in it. All right, let's lock in. I don't know why I did that, but now we're focused once again. I've lost train of thought. Now back to Tesla. All right, this one's slowly starting to work for us. It's Joey Smooth. Exactly. Why not? You know what's going on, brother. No, but in all seriousness, there you go. Nice little pop in TSLL. Why am I involved in this? Nice indecision print at the lows. I think this is definitely going to be a slow burner. I'm going to aim for 436.20 or 31s approximately. That's going to put us at this previous pivot high. We'll take that all day, every day. As Apple is starting to come back into our break even, so we might have to hop out of this momentarily. There it goes, Tesla. My entry is horrid here. Let's as Sharif, like you said, let's cut the crap around here, Sharif, because we want to get in at the lower end of the range. I'm buying the top end of the range, so therefore my risk to reward is drastically skewed, right? So I'm not essentially wrong until we hit 19s. Where am I in? 25 cents.
Where you at?
I don't want to be giving this name particularly 25 cents, that's TSLL, in order for me to turn a profitable trade. But if that's going to be the case, we have to hold it for approximately 50 cents. And that's going to be all the way up to 70s. I don't think that's going to be the case on today's session. But if we get another indecision print on AAPL, this is what I was talking about earlier, this bull flag pattern failing as it broke through that support level. If I get a clean indecision print at the volume weighted average price, I'm going to add substantially, and hopefully we can make a move towards this lower end of the range, and OP would be the dream. If we get back to opening price today, you know what's funny? We don't really talk about it too often. I'm gonna put it in the chat, and I think it's known amongst a bunch of traders. But if I were to ask you, what is the king of all levels? Please put it in there and let me think. I already know the answer. Well, I don't know. It's obviously somewhat subjective, but a lot of traders and people from different communities I know talk about the king of all levels. If you guys can tell me that, that'd be fantastic. I already know. I'll just tell you what it is. It's PDC. What is PDC? Previous day's close. A lot of the time, the stock will always return back to PDC. So there we go. Mitch also says PDC. He knows the king of all levels is PDC. And that's what we're going to aim here on AAPL. Why? Because it is where we open it up and is the king. But no, there goes Tesla, guys. We're starting to get a little bit of a pop. 10 cents as we're starting to recover in the overall market. A beautiful base being formed in the TQs, and it curls right off of it. Gaurav, we just had to be patient on this name. But I mentioned yesterday, although we had a banger of a trade on it, my accuracy on the TQs is horrendous. But what has put in a new high of the day, Shreve, is the SPY. 681.10s now on SPY, substantially outpacing what the Nasdaq is up to. Well, let's take a look at what the XLF is. Bang, new high of the day. So second heaviest weighted sector in the SPY, help carrying it a little bit higher than the tech names.
All right, guys, there's a new crazy one in town. It goes by ENGN. It's, as you can see, though, it's still caught in a bit of a range. That $10 level is a hard level to clear, despite the fact that we got up to 19s. Look, it's not a clean break through 10. VWAP is overlapping with the 10 EMA. They're all basically pointing to that 9.5. 9.5 seems to be a level. Let's see if we can get back into that level. Otherwise, I don't touch this until we clear and hold above 10. ENGN is up about 64.5% on the day, 1114 high, above the pre-market high, above VWAP. It's got everything going for it other than the fact that it doesn't sustain the strong price move to the high side south of $10 as we currently speak. So nothing for me to do on that one other than pack my patience and wait. I got in for a 10 break, but as you saw, lost 10, so I flattened out right away. We basically lost, I think, 2 or 3 pennies on that, so nothing that I'm really worried about, nor is it affecting my day. Yeah, I'd like to get involved on this one, but I don't think that the move is quite clean as of yet. So ENGN certainly in focus for me now. That it's broken through that 10 and is off the volume weighted average price. But look at that drop, man. I would have been substantially out of the money if I had been DCing into an oblivion on that. Just get out when, you know, when it's not working for you there. Joey, what are you going to tell them about?
All right, guys. And now from exciting news out of Canada for the sophisticated traders on the stream. Beta Pro by Global X Canada, Canada's largest provider of leveraged, inverse, and inverse leverage ETFs, has just launched 6 new triple leverage ETFs offering 3x bull and 3x bear exposure to the S&P and TSX 60, semiconductors, and on U.S. Treasuries. Even better, they're offering a special fee rebate, dropping management fees to just 65 basis points until December 31st, 2025. Plus, the U.S.-focused strategies use currency hedging, offering the potential for pure performance and exposure. If you're a tactical, sophisticated trader looking to amplify your performance, check out betapro.ca 3x daily to learn more. All right,
Get it, Joey.
Good stuff there.
Hey.
Do you have anything else you want to cover there, Mike?
Absolutely, Joey. Yeah, I had to digress because Assassino, he asks, and we oblige.
Okay, before you do that, before you do that, let me ask you this: Do you have any of your Christmas stuff up yet?
Zero.
Zero.
Why?
Okay, that's it. That's it. No, that's it.
No. I want to know what. Who bothered you?
No.
Selena wants to put it up, doesn't she?
It's already up.
It's already up.
Yeah.
It's already up.
All up. It's already.
Why is it already up?
It's all up. The day Halloween ends, it's up. It's up. That's it. It's done. It's up. I've seen someone in the chat say
you need to have an intervention.
It's up. It's up. It's up.
And it's up. And it's up. No, seriously though, I don't mind putting it on. Can I tell you something? There's so I live in the dead end of the road. There's a bunch of low-rise buildings, Joey. There's 4 in total. And so I can see the people across from me. I can see into their balconies. It's just very odd. Dude, no, that's not the funny part. The funny part is it stays up into like late February. Like that is the laziest person that lives in that apartment. I don't know who they are, but they're lazy AF. I mean, like, take your stuff down. Come on now. No, but that is funny, dude. Look, man, I have no aversion. To putting up stuff early. I think that Christmas cheer.
I think it's allowed to. The first snowfall, after the first snowfall, boom, you can go up.
We already got plenty. We got plenty.
Absolutely. So it's playing. So as of right now, it's okay if it goes up.
Can't say nothing. There you go. All right, guys, we're going to pause for a second. All the Christmas talk, we're sending it to the big desk.
Just letting you guys know here, Trump concluded his remarks at the Veterans Day ceremony. He did talk a little bit about tariffs and about how he's happy the shutdown seems to be coming to an end. But other than that, not too much here of note. I just wanted to let you guys know he's finished speaking in about 40 minutes. We're set to get the beginning of AMD's Financial Analyst Day. As I mentioned earlier, I've already signed up for the webcast, so I'll be able to cover that for you guys live. Back to you.
Before we send it over to you there, Sharif. So this is what I'm looking at here on Tesla. See, I would add at the break of this resistance zone if my entry was a little bit more precise at the lower end of the range. That way my risk to reward, and I can just free roll my position, and what I have from an unrealized standpoint, add into it for the break of this 1945 level, and then the move into the volume weighted average price. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm all out of Apple. As you can see, it's starting to catch a little bit of a bid here at the break even. Boom, that would have stopped me out anyways, but it was a nice trade off of those lows all the way down to 271.80s at a high of around 273. So that's $2 just like that, as quick as you'd like, Sharif. So not too bad on that trade. But as for the Tesla, we're going to wait. I have a feeling it's going to chop around in this level, and if the TQs have the ability to punch through this previous pivot high, I like our chances for a sustain and maybe somewhat of a rally back to the top side, especially if Apple wants to participate and head towards the high of the day.
Absolutely, Joey. All right, guys. Entered into ENGN over here at 85s, just with the beak in the low 90s. It's going to have to hold up, you know, at 70s essentially. So I'm not giving it much room, but I'm looking for a breakthrough 10. So this one did put in a higher low. It certainly has a lower high currently. We're going to pack the patience, see if we can get another price spike up into the 90s. I've layered some orders. There's 90. There's a seller at 90 here that we can't shake. There's 95s. It's taking out all my prints now. 95 showing up, looking for continuation into 10 on ENGN. It's a good VWAP holder, 65% and going, but we still haven't quite taken out that level at 98s that I have printed up there. So we're going to go ahead and wait at 15s for another profit taker there. Also, I took a bunch of profit on IFRX as it popped up into 86. I didn't get the 86 print there because it didn't cross, but it did make its way up into 86. Let's see if we can take off a little bit over here. We'll pack the patience and we'll keep an eye out on that. But I also have to tell you guys that for too long, trading meant risking your own money or never having enough to start at all. The fear of losing, that's what kept so many traders on the sidelines, guys, but that's all changing. With Trade the Pool is transforming how traders access the markets. With its limited risk trading model, traders use funded capital while Trade the Pool absorbs all the downside. This allows traders to focus on what really matters: discipline, consistency, and growth. When you hit the profit target, you keep up to 70% of the profits. Wow, no fear, no barriers, just real opportunity. This is the revolution of limited risk trading, and it's all powered, baby, by Trade the Pool. So visit tradethepool.com or scan that QR code on the screen to get your 10% off that first evaluation. There goes ENGN Assassino. Look, we got that 10 print, but we're still waiting on that 10-15 print. It's still zigging. It's zagging, Joey, with that $10 area. There's 10 again. Monster seller at 10, showing 02s, unable to clear. 03s now. There's that 10 seller coming in again. 5s now showing up. We're waiting at 15s, but that 10 seller is an annoying little you-know-what, because he won't get out of the way and allow us to take some higher prints over here. So ENGN, we're fighting with 10, Joey. Let's see what happens.
Nice. Yeah, Jake, I'm in the gym every day as well, too. AMD is starting to tank. The market's starting to come back in a little bit. Jake, yeah, just my running has kind of fell off a map, which is not good. It's funny. I was thinking about it the other day. I'm going to get back and just, instead of getting ready in the summer, I'll be ready by the summertime. Yeah. That's the game plan. There it is, guys. Market's starting to come back in. Sellers are in complete control right now. IBIT, not doing too much. It's wetting the bed, that's for sure. So I mean, it's not good whatsoever, man. I wanted to say another word, but we didn't want to say that on there.
Like it,
but AMD, there it goes, AMD towards some key support levels. I could just hop out of this Tesla trade at no worries, for I do think that we are going to break the low end of the day, and that's what's really important, right? I didn't take anything off at this pivot level, looking for a little bit higher of a move, but you can see that it did construct a new higher low. Lower high is, yeah, there we go. Lower high is what I'm looking for, and now heading towards this base. So if I can get out break even, we'll take that all day. Other than that, guys, I'm sitting looking for for a precise entry. Maybe that momentum to the downside on AMD is just going to be an additional liquidity grab. You get that indecision print and then a grind higher. But it's one of those days, man. I was just telling Gorev, like, honestly, I have no issues with not putting on any other trades. I'm more or less just looking for things to see if we can grind a bit higher. But what I'm seeing for my specific playbook isn't necessarily there. So I don't want to force anything either. On a daily, we're going to probably fill this gap in AMD. So look for that move all the way back down to 235. It's a couple dollars away from now. Apple is going Oppo, and then we are, Oppo.
Everybody hear about Oppo Taco?
Oppo, no, is that a place?
No.
Have you ever been to Rancho Relaxo?
No, but that sounds really relaxing.
It's really good. It's a good.
Is that a real
spot.
place, or are you just making stuff up?
No, I don't know. Why would I make it up? It's legit, man. The jerk chicken taco it is fire, man. It's probably one of the best. So there's a little bit of fusion in there. But no, in all seriousness, guys, we're going to continue to take a look at some things. We'll head back over to our volume scanner to see if there's anything appealing to us or catching our eye. If there's anything in the options world that you want to go over, just feel free to ask me and put it in the chat. Someone had a super chat that we totally forgot about. Vaughn Clark, Neil is the break action FN. Oh, okay, no, maybe that wasn't it. Joseph Perez, okay, so yeah, we already went over those super chats. Sorry, I apologize. But anyways, back to what we were looking at. Head over to our scanner and see what we got going on. If there's anything in particular that we'd like. AAL has been on it for quite some time, but you can see that we're barcoding here, so that is a lot of algo type price action. And the liquidity, there's going to be issues as soon as we head to the lower time frames. So you can see that right now. That's tough to trade, right? It's really, really tough. Spread probably a little bit wider, especially for a $13 name. What is Soundhound been up to on the 1 minute? He's not doing too good either there, Sharif. So not too good of a look across the board. Is this SanDisk?
Oh, wow.
No, I don't think that's SanDisk there. I know that's been in play. Obi was talking about that the other day. As for Ethereum, we know that this probably isn't going to be trading overly well either, considering Bitcoin isn't. MU, what have you been up to?
Joey, I got to
go ahead, man.
Guys, ENGN is taking all the levels out there. There goes 10, and there is 1050. It's up 73% now. Good accumulation into VWAP. This one's very strong as MTC starts giving up the ghost and is really no longer tradable as it continues to make lower lows. The degens got to punch into something, myself included, so they funnel off, they cycle off into something else, something stronger. ENGN seems to be that one right now. It is a 1050 high. We were holding this one from south of 10, well south of 10, mind you, from like 982. Look at this one, all gas, no brakes, 1114 high. Let's see if we can squeeze back into that $11 area. It doesn't have to be a high day break, but I want to set up a little bit because now we're done our trade. We've exhausted all the shares. Now we got to pick up something. I'm thinking maybe another move back down into 10 if it comes in. But based upon, the current strength, we may not get a pullback all the way back into 10. We're showing 1029 right now. So ENGN, guys, this one's very strong for the small cap traders. Here comes 10 again. Let's see if we can get something off 10. It showed me 15s ever so briefly. I think if it hits single digits, like 7s, 9s, whatever, I might got something. There is 10 right there. We're going to punch in here, Joey. Anything below 10, I'm gone. So it loses 10. We'll give back about 5 pennies on that one. Right back above 10 it goes. Let's see if it can hold 10 this time around. I'm not going to jump in. Now it's actually using 10 as resistance. So look at that. It's unable to reclaim 10 all that quickly or at all, in fact. So there's that 10 print again. Hidden seller, very obviously a hidden seller, as there's no size posted on the gateway. So they are using 10 as that sort of level of resistance. So we'll pack our patience on this one. ENGN, good look right now, Joey, but definitely still waiting for a little bit more.
All right, cool. James Choi says BA 200 calls that expire on the 21st of November, $1.85 per strike. Vote this Thursday. All right, any idea what this, whatever, we'll get back. I have no idea, man. But there is a nice indecision print on AMD here off of these lows. But once we start to engulf a little bit of this wick low, then I'm going to avoid it at all costs. I'm just looking for specific things, guys. To be honest with you, it's a choppy mess in the overall market. We can pull up the board here. IBI IBIT, slightly tempted to take a long on it as it's forming these consistent higher lows, but if that floor breaks, I think there's going to be some more downside in IBIT. Let's pull up the options chain actually and take a look at what we got going on with that, because I told you guys from a writing standpoint, I'm going to look to head right back into that world, because I don't believe that we're going to be heading significantly higher anytime soon in the crypto space. So with that being said, you guys know that I'm aggressively heavy on, I don't know why I typed in Apple, on some contracts, so I want to start hedging against it. What do we got December 5th, 24 days from now? I'm looking to, let's actually turn on our strategy builder first. Now, I can head over to the 66s, collect $56, or I can go to exactly where I'm currently sitting at, collect an additional $70 on that front. So let's sign up right there, and this is what we got. We're going to head that over to 6, and then we'll just take a look at the profile here momentarily to see what we got going on. So here it is, guys. So we have the ability to collect $420. Well, all right, cool. Maybe we sign up 420 right there with a probability of profit of 83%. Right? That is a big time probability of profit. So essentially what the options market is telling us by December 5th, that there's almost no chance, a 13% chance, that we are going to be trading higher than $65 on IBIT. That's going to put us roughly around 114K on Bitcoin. I don't like that. That is extremely bearish sentiment. Also, to note, we noticed at the 65 strike price in size, which has started to cool down, we seen in the hundreds of thousands, 116,000 to be precise, on what we had on the previous expiration cycle. Sorry, on mid-November 21st, things are starting to cool off, but 60 having the largest amount of size. Let's get this strategy builder off so we can see it a little bit more clearly, but they're saying by November 21st, the probability is relatively low, a 70% chance that these contracts are going to close out the money. That is not what I want to hear, but I have to listen to what the market is telling me, and that might give us a good opportunity to start writing some of these nearer dated contracts, the 61s, because now I am north of that call wall, and I get to collect substantially a couple dollars more per contract with half the duration, and which I'm looking for, opposed to those December 5th expirations.
Great explanation, Joey, man.
Thanks, brother.
All right, guys, we're back into ENGN as it failed, so we had to stop out for the last remaining amount. Popped up into 10.5, failed. We're right back in now and looking for that 10 break. It's having a lot of trouble taking out 10. 10 is such a nasty level here on ENGN. It was initially, and then it, momentarily broke through it. It looks like the shorts are targeting $10 and really fixating on that level. And there is a gnarly seller at that $10 area. Sometimes he's at 99, sometimes he's at the whole dollar. Currently defending that 10 EMA on the 5. We'll have to see how long that lasts for. There's 10 again. Look at that. We can't take anything off that 10 print. There is an aggressive seller there at 10, but we'll see if we can shake him. Here's 10 again. Can we get anything above 10? We're getting all sorts of green prints, but nothing coming in above that level. Let's just wet the beak there.
Do me a favor.
Yeah, absolutely, Joey.
Vaughn Clark has 2 super chats in there. Both of them are directed towards you.
Absolutely, Joey. I just got to concentrate on this one for a sec, because this one could break down on me. And but I promise I will get to those. Just allow me a sec to keep an eye here on ENGN. I'm looking for a break at 10. We're not getting it. There's a huge hidden seller at that level, but we're at the level. We're hanging out at the level, so anything can happen here. So I need to keep my eyes very much fixed on ENGN. I put in the stop, of course, but I haven't put as many profit takers to the north side as I'd like, obviously. So we'll just keep an eye out on this level. It's got a higher low currently, but that could change in a heartbeat. We have certainly a lower high than that. So I don't want to say, hey, let me get out here, and then if it breaks 10, I'll get back in. We just saw what happened. It went up to 1050, and then it lost 10. So that idea may not be quite sound at the moment. I'm going to get out here, break even on the remaining amount, because I feel like it may fail. And it looks, it's already dropping down into the low 90s. Let's see if it comes back into the 10 EMA, which is right now high 70s on this one. All right, Vaughn Clark, my man. Let's go. Joseph, no, bro. Y'all never answered my super chat earlier. It was a question for Neil on F. Pardon me? You're putting it in, there it is right there, okay. Neil, is the break action, Neil, is this the break action on F. Okay, well, Neil's not here right now, but you're asking me about rig, Sharif at rig. Okay, I just have to keep an eye on ENGN. It's going to break 10 again here. Man, jeez Louise. It's not the time for a super, but what are we going to do? All right, so RIG. It's a good look. This could form into a head and shoulders, so be careful on that. It's preceded by an uptrend, left shoulder, head, right shoulder. If it breaks and continues and doesn't give up the ghost at 34, I'd be looking to get long. You could also get long at the volume weighted average price at around 31. And if it breaks down below 28, which is the area low, get out there. You have multiple options how you can kind of finagle a trade into this. I would get in at 31 right here. Stop goes at 28, or you could take the breakout trade for 34. Look for continuation into the high. I hope that helps. Shout out to Vaughn Clark. Thank you very much for the super chat there. All right, back to ENGN, as this one is still hanging out at 99s. It's got a higher low. And how much time is left on this candle? We still have about a minute and a half, 2.5 minutes, a little bit less actually. So let's see what we can get here. I don't want to punch into this and then have this one drop on me. Let's see if it can break above 10. I don't mind chasing it a little bit too much, but we've got to take out that 10 seller first, which we're having a lot of trouble doing. SOC is coming back into the volume weighted average price, which is at 97s. That's my invitation to get in there, and then anything below 90, we're going to get out of that. So let's put in some orders on this one. We're already taking out levels. Holy cow, what a move here for SOC, but look at it come right back in. Look at that, man. Wow, we caught that right at 7. Rockets up to 715. Let's go ahead and wait a little bit higher now, man. We're going to wait at 15s, and we're also going to wait at 21s. Anything below 7 gets me out of the trade, and that got me out of the trade for the last remaining amount right there. Very volatile, man. Back to ENGN. Sorry, I got to keep digressing. Happy I got out of this. Look at this one bleed all the way south. We just lost the 10 EMA. 9.5 is VWAP on ENGN. So that's where I'd be looking next here on ENGN. A VWAP dip. That takes us down to 9.5. Let's see if we get that. IFRX, how we doing on that? Still trending up off that dip trade at 176. So pack in the patience there. Yeah, okay, so we got to that one. There was another super chat there. How are you all? Good luck. Thank you, Papacito. What is that? Is that shekels?
Yes, sir.
That looks like 690 shekels. Does he know, I wonder if he knows Nimrud.
Yeah, ask him.
Papacito, you know your countryman Nimrud? I'm sure you saw him on the show. Of course, when he was here, he was not here that long ago.
Talking to that other guy, the other
How's he doing?
He's doing good, man.
Is he coming back, or was that just?
He says he has intentions to come back. Yeah, but he's busy, man.
Yeah, you guys are keeping in contact more than him and I. Man. I'm a little jealous.
He called me. He's like, man, options, man. I don't know.
He's loving the options. You opened up a whole new world.
Yeah,
for
he
him,
loves
man.
it. He loves it for sure.
Yeah, a lot of leverage there, Joey. Oh no. Yeah, look at this. This makes me feel a little stupid over here on SOC. Dips in. We get stopped out for the remaining amount on SOC. Let's see if we can ride this trend back up, Joey. This looks like it's, looking good over here. So we're going to punch back into SOC. What do you got, my man?
Yeah, same thing, man. I just hopped out of this Tesla. I'm not seeing anything that I like. I'm down like a handful, so it's nothing much. But what this market is up to, full disclosure, I caught a fill on those IBIT short calls. No, a fill on. We don't catch feelings around here. Anyway,
he's got a full old girlfriend that he lives with. Yeah, I don't catch feelings. What?
But there goes Bitcoin heading towards the downside there. God, thank you. Yes. Why did I? Yes. I mean, it's not good. The situation is not good. Full disclosure,
no way.
In the good old account. But at the end of the day, we could just continuously mitigate it. At some point, I have to let it go. But what we can do is the beauty of the options contracts is
the Katina's back.
You're not even supposed to be in today.
He is. He was just in the morning.
Oh, you're
bro.
only your half day.
How'd it go, Katina, man? Good? Good, very good.
What's up, Katina, man? Shout out to them. There goes Bitcoin heading towards the downside, starting to bleed aggressively. Let's see. Let's pull up the actual thing.
Pull up.
Oh, hold on. Even though I know nothing's not going to hit today, we'll just bang. We'll hit that right there, Joey? As we're getting ready for this one there, Sharif. And then we're going to pull it up momentarily.
Okay.
Byte to bucks, baby. This is what I'm talking about. So let's pull this up over here and head over to the world's favorite. I'm not going to say that whatsoever. asset, and that's not going to be the case. So rejecting this trend line extremely aggressively. I think it's ideal. You can see the volume is relatively cool in that, and we're starting to engulf a lot of this move. So what do? I need this to head up back to here. I'm going to release once we breach and hold that 100K. So we get to 195s. I'm going to realize a little bit of a loss, and then maybe look to just assess the situation and transfer that into a complete winner. And that's probably going to be meta, to be honest with you guys. But as what we got going on here, 102.95s heading a little bit lower. Watch out for that 99 level to break, and then we're going to head into this. I made a big mistake. I told you guys this already. Okay. I'm more than happy with this trade. But what was my mistake, you ask? This. All right? So here it is. I'm long. What happened?
He's chuckling.
I love that talk. What was that mistake?
Yeah, you wanted. Yeah. You wanted.
Yeah,
you want to know what the mistake was? I'll tell you right now. Buying Amazon at 213 and selling at 222, and then rotating into this bleep.
I don't mean to laugh.
Yeah, but it was this. But no, it's serious.
Sorry,
it was a mistake. And we can laugh at it because at the end of the day, it's all. It's none of it's real. It's money. It's money. None of it's real. At the end of the day, it's all digital. You got to make that thing as large as you possibly can. So that was a big time mistake. So now how am I going to fix this?
How are you going to do it?
We're going to write some calls, which we have been doing, collecting premium, and then once the thing really starts to not work out, which I have a feeling we're going to get a little bit more of a breakdown in this, we're going to head over right to this thing. And I like Meta substantially down off of that previous all-time high, in which it's down 21% from where we're currently trading at from that high. I'm going to hammer that one, and what does that happen? We're going to make back the money in which we've lost on the horrible trade in this good trade. So essentially what I got going on is complete manifestation right now, Shreve, if you haven't noticed, and I know it's going to work. Why? Because the trading gods whispered in my ear and said, Joseph, do it, and I have the gut.
Do it. All right, I like it, Joey. Shout out to you, my man. Hope you print up multiple storms. On the long term, the short term, the swing, whatever the hell you're doing
on all terms.
On all terms. All right, guys, we punched right back into SOC. It's quite volatile. We got 7s. We took 20s. It came back in. I flattened out at 9s. Alas, it's right back up. It's insanely volatile right now. I mean, it has periods where it does nothing, and then it has crazy, you know what, periods like that, the one that we're currently involved in right now. So SOC is not a bad looker at the moment, especially with the umpteen amount of holds at VWAP. Also, the higher lows are super interesting to me anyway. I don't want to trade a range, and that's what it is right now. So let me show you guys what I mean on the black charts here. We can make the case, Assassino. This looks very much like a range. It's a bull flag, as we know. No two bull flags created equal, but I'll trade it as a range. It pops off the volume weighted average price, generally loses 7 by 5 or 6 pennies. It comes into 695, 690, whatever it is, in and around that level, and then pops right back up. If I'm seeing it, other small cap traders are seeing it, and the proof is in the pudding. The fact that it comes into that level and it's bought up aggressively, not once, not twice, but 3 times. 18 4/5 is what it's up on the day, 731 high. But, you know, I sang this one's praise. Look how great this is. It's also got lower highs. So keep that in mind if you're looking for a breakout trade. I would say build your position at the lower end of the range, and then, you know, trade it as, you know, go into it thinking I'm going to trade it as a range. And if it breaks out, fantastic. Ride it, right? Ride the trend. So SOC in focus for me. We'll see what we get. We won't get upset. So shout out to the Neil. All right, who else we got over here? We got IFRX. Let's take a gander at what that bad boy is doing. We got 76s on that monster. It's showing me 86. Good look, but not enough of a good look, because that 88 profit taker, resting profit taker, has gone unfilled, and it's continued to go unfilled for a hot minute. So that is what I'll be looking at there. I also want to bring your attention to PUBM. This is much slower of a grind up, but it is a grind up nonetheless. So for the longs, this has been money, absolute money off the 10 EMA on the 5. It doesn't matter where you were looking. If you were looking at 11 o'clock, it was money. How about that 11:55? Money. How about 12:30? Money. So PUBM off the 10 EMA. Joey, it's up 40.
Did you say money?
Money. Oh, no, you got that one, eh? Yeah, you feel good about this guy, bro. All right, so PUBM. in focus for me as well. We're not going to execute on it right now. And I want to bring your attention to RDGT. It's reawakening over here from the bowels of hell, and it's reawakening into that 290 area. Alas, it has a lot of trouble with $3. So just because it's waking up into 3 doesn't mean it would clear 3. Look at the amount of times we failed at 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candles on the 5-minute chart, all of which failed to close above or open above 3. So that gives you an idea of the kind of resistance we are facing at that $3 level, guys. All right, it is about 2:47. We're going to start the news shortly, but for the moment, we're sending it to the big desk.
We are 13 minutes away from the start of AMD's Financial Analyst Day. I am already on the webcast. I'm waiting for them to begin. So again, I don't know if this is going to be on YouTube or anything, but they do have a webcast off of their website. I am watching that. And again, we will give you live coverage right here on Trader TV Live. So don't go anywhere, guys. 13 minutes until the start of AMD's Financial Analyst Day. Back to you.
Man, we're pumped for this day, guys. The last one that AMD did was back in 22. And Lisa Su's like, look, I'm not going to do one every year. I'll do it when I'm good and ready. No, that's not what she said. I'm playing. She said, I'll do it when there's like big events to announce. So obviously the MI400 series slated to be released, as well as their server rack to compete with the GB200, which is the full gauntlet of, AI products from Nvidia. We're talking CPU, we're talking GPU, we're talking networking. So AMD looking to throw its hat into the server ring as well. So I'm all ears to see what Aunt Lisa has to offer, or I should say Dr. Sue has to offer there. Shout out to her and the crew there. And I put a nice little picture for her today on the Morning Note. Let's bring it in over here, Joey. I want to remind everybody, guys, that the Morning Note available bright and early every day. I want to say around 8, 8:10 or so. It's super easy to get, but you got to be a premium subscriber. So right below the video of the stream right now is a join button. Hit that join button. It's $4.99 a month, and this is just one of the first in a series of products that we're going to be releasing to paid members only. I'm in a beta test right now for my earnings note that will be released weekly, and it's going to have a gauntlet of information I'll show you guys in a second. But if you guys are already subscribed, which all the people with green names in the chat, you guys are all premium members, just mosey on over to our YouTube homepage, hit that posts tab right there, and then mosey on over right down Sharif's Morning Note. There's Dr. Lisa Su smiling with the AMD processor in her hand. And then you just click read more. There it is right there. And there's a link. It takes you to a Google Drive, and the Morning Note appears. And of course, the first story, as it has to be, Joey, is AMD. You better believe it. We're going to lead off with AMD, even though SoftBank sold $5.8 billion worth of Nvidia shares there. So, that's also a big headline as well. So make sure to get the Morning Note every day, guys. If you're already subscribed, then you guys are already getting that. If you're not, it probably behooves you to get on that. So hope everybody that's using it is getting value out of it. All right, what are you looking at there, Joe?
Yeah, same thing, man. I got out of this Tesla trade. If I hop back in, I automatically already have a better price. But what I have a feeling is that we're just going to get that slow curl over. So you can see that we failed to establish any form of new highs. And there it goes, bang, a big tank to the downside. That's why we got out earlier, man. That's not what we were looking for. And just reading the price action, I'm like, you know what? This isn't the session. Even though, look at the SPY. It's just doing its own thing right now. Tech is most definitely the weaker sector. We went over that earlier in the day, and that's starting to fill this downside gap in which we experienced 680, and now we're at the top end of that 681 right there. So bang, bang, bang. Apple continuing to climb higher. Is this going to help drag the Nasdaq up? Bang. Yeah, we were short that one, Katina Man, earlier in the day. The Katina Man's back in the house, by the way. He was at his Remembrance Day assembly not too long ago. Yeah, Katina Man, look at this reload right here. Bang, short to VWAP, bang, reload on that one. So reloaded there, but we're out of that trade now. We're just looking for something else. Other than that, guys, I don't see anything in particular. I know Hypercube is like, man, I'm not even going to trade any more today, understandably so. But I want to find something that is a high probability setup. And am I going to find that right now? I don't know. I've wrote these. Now you get an indecision print off of the lows on IBIT. Keep an eye out. That is going to be the largest volume print since we experienced since 11 a.m. A little bit after that this morning. Can we get a sustained move here? Possibly. If you play the break of this, then you want to look for a move into that prior support, and bang, you get a nice little bounce in Bitcoin just like that. I still have the utmost confidence in the writings, though. I don't think we head back into that level, and if we do, so what? Buy them back and allow those contracts to rock and roll, because we got 6 of them. Bang, we're gonna allow that to work. Tesla right back into my entry price. Again, it's a lot of chop, guys. You're going to want to give yourself a much wider stop on today's session. So what is that going to include? Smaller shares, wider stop, and allow things to just fluctuate substantially. And you might have to sit in these trades for a lot longer than what you're typically used to. There's no big-time momentum plays just yet. You might be able to find something in AMD. Will we get a volatility spike in AMD once this event starts? I think so. But once that happens, just follow the volume. Don't try to fight it or anything along those lines. Other than that, what are you guys looking at? Let's go over a couple of those names. GLTO, someone's mentioning in the chat. Let's see what GLTO.
Yeah, I got that, Joey.
All right, go ahead.
That's my world there. All right, GLTO, guys. Gelato is going. I just put it on the side chart. Good call out, Joey. I appreciate that, guys. This one was moving in the pre-market yesterday. It had a great day in the pre, but then it lost VWAP. But here we go again. Look at this range it's holding, guys. That $15 is an absolute buy level. It was the low during the regular trading hours yesterday, and it was the low again this morning, 15 on the dot, and here we are at highs, Joey, 2184. We're showing 56 is a last. We still do have highs in the pre-market right around 24 bucks. That's still uncleared. So be careful with this one, as the bag holders are going to be holding. From the aftermarket yesterday, where this thing cleared 25, from the pre-market where it cleared 26, and from today where it got into 24. So be careful. There could be a lot of downwards resistance on Gelato over here. GLTO is the ticker I'm talking about. But I do like the way this one is looking at the moment. That's why I threw it up on the side chart. I also want to mention Exhibit. I don't know if this is going to, we're not going to be able to pimp or ride after a trade on this one, but XBIT is also bull flagging. It had a nice little break in the pre-market, and it's getting a nice little continuation here as well in the aftermarket or in the regular trading hours. So there's a bull flag, 9:30, and then we get another bull flag at 12:05, and then it rockets up into 344. We are trading below the volume weighted average price right now at around 314. But, you know, if we start putting in higher highs above 320, 325, this one could be a good one, up 28%. So very strong name as well. So it's Gelato and Exhibit. Those XBIT, those are the ones going to be looking at, of course, with SOC and IFRX, because I'm involved in those ones. But this one is looking real good, especially with an aggressive uptrend like this off the 10 EMA. And it's been respecting the 10 EMA, I want to say, since 12:05. So almost an hour now of respect off that key area of technical support. I'm talking, of course, about the 10 EMA. IFRX at 88. I'm actually waiting at 88. It's not printing me. It's got a cross. So we got our Packer patience there. Paul Newman, I didn't mean that, bro. It's just because Joey doesn't trade the small cap, so I didn't know he knew or not whether it was a small cap gapper. That's why I just saved him the time. All right, guys, I want to shout out Blair Yake, thank you for joining. Brother, you're going to get the morning note as well. Shout out to Anuj Nath. Thank you, Anuj. You joined as well. Rob Melvin, thank you for joining, brother. You're going to get the morning note as well. And for the individual who was asking me, I forget who it was, that he's like, bro, I don't have a thing. I don't have a join button below the video. There's no way, my man. So here is the video. And there's the join button right there. You hit that join button. This handsome gentleman named Brendan Wickens shows up and hit that join button right there. It's $4.99 a month, guys. You're going to get Joey's algo when it's ready. You're going to get my weekly earnings note as well for all the different earnings plays. That's still in beta. And already we have the morning note. So that's already there. And hopefully it's adding value to your trading, Joey. So we got the print there on IFRX at 88. There's 90 now. Let's go ahead and post at 90. That's going to be a short, Joey. So we're going to go post at 92, actually. See if we can get that. There's 91s now. Good look for IFRX as it works its way back into that 94 penny high, 20.5%. Not a bad look. Gelato is losing a little bit of the bid. GLTO is the one I'm talking about, of course, lovingly calling it gelato. There's the 10 EMA. The 10 EMA is a little bit below that, right at the $0.50, 255. So the spread here on gelato is quite displeasing. It's like 30 pennies, and that is not my move there, despite the fact it comes into that 250 area, which is a 10 EMA, which is a prior area of price action resistance, rockets back up to 21. But look at the spread here, 67 on the bid, 94 on the ask. That ain't for me. Steering clear of that. That's hard to manage risk on when you're trading small caps with a wide spread like that. So despite the great look on gelato, technically, of course, I'm going to steer clear of it. All right, Joey, it is about 3-1. I'm going to send it to you for a second. All right. And then Kuwait Digital Media, I like that. Shukran ya besha. All right, that means thanks, sir, or thank you, my lord, or something like that. Besha is like a Turkish, it's like saying sir and lord. But the Turks had their own thing. They had be and besha. Where Pasha, they're supposed to say Pasha. But Egyptians are, you know, they have their own way of saying it, Joey, so we say Besha. Pasha. All right, so shout out to my man there from Kuwait. All right, let's start the news, Joey Options. We're gonna bring in that morning note over here, and we're gonna get right down to business. All right, so just allow me here to keep my eye on IFRX. I just want to be able to monitor the trade while I'm in it. Good, so it's the next screen over. Sorry, Assassino, allow me a sec. There we go. All right, let's talk about AMD because, well, it's starting quite shortly. So here's what we're expecting. It will host its first financial day since 2022. It starts at 1 p.m. in New York City, and the company is expected to raise its long-term AI forecast. They're really highlighting here their progress in the GPU and the data center market, and they're looking to showcase some of their newest products. What are those? One that Joseph has been talking about a lot, the MI series, the MI 400 series. It's launching in 26, and it's a response, of course, to the G300, not out yet by NVIDIA. The company is also building a new GPU rack architecture, so they're looking at taking on the GB200. So if you're wondering what the difference is between the GPU and the racks, well, the racks include CPUs, GPUs, as well as networking gear. So it's like an all-in-one, ready to kind of network kind of product. And basically, until now, it's been dominated by NVIDIA, and AMD wants to throw their hat into that server ring as well. So as we know, of course, AMD signed a multi-year deal with OpenAI in October to become a key supplier of the GPU infrastructure. So I'll be listening to more developments about that partnership because, well, the king of AI right now is OpenAI, Joey. So not much to say. AMD is down right now, 2 1/5, but that could all change momentarily.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think we're going to get a little bit of a volatility spike coming into AMD once that keynote starts, essentially. I think it's going to be important to note that it may not be sustained. Considering where we are sitting at from a daily perspective, we might potentially fill this gap, so keep that into consideration at all times. But I like our chances for a little bit of a spike in the overall market with AMD.
All right, that was quick. Sorry, give me a second over here. I just have to see what... All right, Adara, what's your take on AMD? Okay, cannot. All right, let's go on to SoftBank, and they're exiting the entire NVIDIA position. So what am I talking about here? So SoftBank announced the sale of its entire NVIDIA stake worth $5.83 billion as it reallocates that capital towards new AI ventures, most notably, again, Open frickin' AI. They sold 32.1 million shares, Katina, man, in October, and they also divested part of their position in T-Mobile to the tune of $9.17 billion. CFO Yoshimitsu Goto crypto said the asset sales are part of the broader asset monetization strategy and aiming here at maintaining their financial strength while increasing their funding flexibility. So what are we talking about here? Is this a bearish thing? Should we be concerned? Everybody and their mother is talking about, you know, the AI bubble. Analysts are pushing back against that narrative. They're saying the sale does not signal a bearish view on Nvidia by SoftBank, but rather it's a rebalancing move to support SoftBank's massive AI expansion. What are we talking about here? Well, new research, they're estimating SoftBank needs roughly $30.5 billion in capital for their investments this quarter, including $22.5 billion for OpenAI and $6.5 billion for Amper. The investment spree just on the quarter, this investment spree that they're having in this quarter is more than they spent in the prior 2 years combined. It gives you an idea of why they need to be a little bit more liquid and generate some cash. So it kind of makes sense from that angle. And SoftBank says they remain deeply intertwined with Nvidia's ecosystem, as many of their ventures depend on Nvidia hardware, including, yes, that $500 billion Stargate data center project that we're building in the United States. Also, Joey, the sale comes as SoftBank's Vision Fund posted a record $19 billion in gain in the last quarter, doubling the company's overall profit.
All right, guys. Yeah, I mean, as for this, Sharif, worst case scenario is that Masayoshi selling these shares and it turning out to be that Cathie Wood scenario where she sold it at the equivalent, I think it was like $20 or something along those lines. But a rotation is good. Diversification isn't horrible whatsoever. Let me know whenever you're ready there, Assassino. We can get that fired up 110%. Other than that, guys, I'm looking. Yep. All right, cool. So your heart will beat 100,000 times per day, and every beat is a data point. AIML, Innovation, CSE, AIML, OTC, QB, AIML, FF turns that data into potentially life-saving insights with max yield and AI engine that filters noise, labels each heartbeat with lab-grade precision, and shrinks ECG analysis from days to a minute. Their mission: to revolutionize how heart disease is detected, monitored, and prevented. Learn more at AIML Health and follow at AIML Health_innovate on X.com. Guys, all right, there's a lot of, that wasn't the easiest read there is. But no, in all seriousness, hopefully this doesn't turn out where NVDA doubles its price in the next couple of years.
Right? And Brendo was looking at the daily chart and he was looking at that volume candle and it was like when they made all-time highs. So you never know, maybe they top-ticked it.
Oh, okay, before. And Neil and Obi were looking at what happened when, I forget who was selling their shares earlier from that specific level. Was it Masayoshi before? So it was the second time heading into that stock. But no, worst case scenario, by the end of a couple of years, or a couple of years from now, that stock's $400. You're not going to be so happy about selling it right now.
Well said, Joey. Well said. All right, Adara, this is a big exit by SoftBank. What do you make of this?
I honestly think it's kind of a nothing burger, and there's a couple reasons I think this. For one, they did exit another name as mentioned here, right? T-Mobile. And of course, they're still in T-Mobile, but that's a pretty massive sale. And T-Mobile has this to say about that drop, which is basically nothing at all to the downside. They're actually leading a very strong communication sector. So all of this is to say that I think maybe the reason that we're a little bit freaked out is because, as you know, we were discussing yesterday, and I know, Sharif, you were discussing yesterday in particular, there are a lot of heightened fears around a potential bubble in AI. Now, again, those fears are not new. They've existed prior, but I think the timing of those fears with SoftBank offloading its stake or selling its stake, I think people did get a little bit worried. However, if anything, it sounds like, SoftBank is doing this so that they can get more involved in OpenAI. So they're not stopping with AI. They're just moving their money to a different location. I think if you look at it that way, I think it becomes a lot less bearish and maybe even arguably, I don't want to say bullish, but I think more optimistic for the AI space. Speaking of AI, we have to talk about our friends AMD. Lisa Su, or Dr. Lisa Su, CEO of Advanced Micro Devices, she just began speaking. So keep an eye here on AMD. Nice pop-up here, roughly like $2, $3 pop from the lows here for Advanced Micro Devices as Lisa Su begins speaking. Looks like they're going to talk a lot about financial projections, which makes sense. And apparently at one point there's going to be like an intermission or a break. So I'll just keep you guys posted.
Essentially, what I wanted to touch on there, Adair, is that I mentioned that we're going to see a volatility spike in AMD. As soon as that started, sure enough, you're off to the races. Increased volume, the second largest print of this session. I'm taking an additional short here on AAPL, guys.
All right, guys. Let's talk about CoreWeave. They beat on Q3 revenue, but that guide came in a little late. So let's talk about it. Q3 revenue, 1.36 billion, beat estimates of 1.29. Top line check. How about that? Year-over-year increase. Well, they grew revenue at an eye-watering pace, 134% year-over-year bump on that number. They came from 583 million. Now they're printed 1.36. Despite all that, they're still losing money. We know, super CapEx heavy. They got to keep buying GPUs. They got to keep buying data centers, energy, obviously networking. So they lost $110 million a share, but that's a lot less than what they lost last year. They lost $360 million, so they were able to narrow those costs, or those losses down. EPS, 22 pennies loss per share, despite the strong quarter we see where shares are dropping because management issued softer full year 2026 guidance. The growth also remains tied, of course, to AI compute. We know that they depend heavily on Nvidia, and they've got insane amounts of backlog that they can't meet, and I'll explain why in a second. Their demand backlog now $55.6 billion, and they signed an expansion deal with OpenAI to the tune of $6.5 billion, as well as a 6-year, $14.2 billion agreement with Meta, plus its 6th hyperscaler contract during that quarter. But the CEO, he's confirmed that CoreWeave remains supply constrained, but not due to power shortages, not due to chip shortages, rather a limited supply of powered shell data centers to deploy the infrastructure. So in other words, they can't find ready buildings that can house these data centers so that they can just, offer more neo cloud compute. It seems to be a big issue for them here, Joey. And I don't know, near term what they can do other than add more capacity.
It's going to cost money, man. The CapEx is going to most definitely increase, especially if they have a backlog, and there's just not enough storage space for all of this stuff. But in all seriousness, if we head over to the IPO, some of these IPOs that we experienced, CoreWeave was holding up relatively well. You go on a couple-month run right here, all the way up to 186. You have taken a 50% haircut roughly from that specific level. All right, so keep that in mind. 85 is going to be a key pivot level on CoreWeave. If that breaks, watch out. Guys, we're going to send it over to Adara.
Yeah, what we're going to do here, guys, is speaking of CoreWeave, I want to take you through these earnings recaps that we do here on Exit TTV Research. Here's the one for CoreWeave. As you can see here, the revenue beat. We narrowed the net loss year over year, and we also have the forward guidance, which, of course, the revenue guide did come in a little bit below their prior guide and the analyst estimates, right? And, of course, this talk here about these delays with the third-party data center developer. We also here have the Big Bear AI earnings recap. We know this is one of Sean's favorites. So this is a name that actually had a double beat, but revenue growth was down 20% year over year. Gross margin also contracting year over year. And again, revenue guidance also maintained for the fiscal year. So you guys can find all of this on Exit TTV Research if you're looking back on these reports. But what if you're thinking, hey, I want to know what's reporting tonight or going forward? Guess what? We have earnings previews as well. Here is ours for Oklo. Again, Sean and I will be covering this report tonight after the bell. We're expecting a slight loss per share. We are expecting revenue here of $1.5 million. Here's also a fun little visual featuring two very prominent former board members here. We've got Chris Wright, who is a former member of Oklo's board and now the U.S. Secretary of Energy, and Sam Altman, of course, the OpenAI CEO, who was formerly the chairman of Oklo's board of directors. So all of these visuals can be found, as always, on Exit TTV Research as we send you back to Joe and Sharif.
Thank you very much for that. Let's go on to the next story. Paramount Skydance lifts cost savings target, and they're eyeing that streaming expansion. So let's talk about it. They reported Q3 earnings. It's first since the merger back in August, and they're projecting another $1 billion in additional merger savings, bringing those economies of scales together. And they're bringing the run rate efficiencies to at least $3 billion. The company expects $1.4 billion in savings by the year end, and another $1 billion in savings next year for full year 2026. So good look there with CEO David Ellison emphasizing North Star priorities, which are basically streaming operations, expanding globally in streaming, and generating long-term cash flow. Wouldn't we all want that? They announced another Sadly, of course, we never want to celebrate this, but the market tends to. Another 1,600 layoffs tied to divestitures in Argentina as well as Chile. This follows 1,000 layoffs earlier in Q3 and a policy shift towards a mandatory 5-day in-office schedule. That's something that I can certainly get behind. Around 600 employees opted for buyouts instead of returning to the office full-time. Not surprised. Streaming price hikes. Let's talk about this as well. The company plans to raise its prices for Paramount again in Q1 of 26. That is a typo. The third hike since early 23. The funds are going to support content expansion as well as tech upgrades to improve that user experience. Joey, they have about 70 million global subscribers with recent momentum returning because of the NFL season after some summer churn. So, you and I also talked about this. The $7.7 billion 7-year UFC deal that they struck with TKO. Yep. They also got a deal with Activision to develop TV and film based on Call of Duty. They got a 5-year exclusive agreement with South Park. They signed the Duffer Brothers from Stranger Things for a mid-2026 project. So, you and I were talking about this. We're talking about maybe this one is a bit of a sleeper. Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, I mean,
what do you think?
we're thinking about the ESPN deals going to be ending at the end of the year for UFC. That South Park was a pretty big thing. I think there's a lot going on potentially. How many eyes is this going to bring from the UFC? I think it can add a little bit for sure. But what else we got going on there? The Stranger Things ending, also on Netflix as well, too. So there's a lot going on. PSKY, that's the ticker, I believe, right? Yeah, we can take a look at it. It also did catch an upgrade this morning as well, too, Sharif. So we'll take a look at that. But, I mean, there it is. I mean, it is a nice hold off of that 14 level. We're not going to complain. But I think this UFC thing, it's not going to obviously flip the books or anything, but it can be pretty big in my opinion.
Yeah, and then we know that there's the, obviously, they're trying to acquire Warner Brothers Discovery.
Yeah, exactly.
They throw in bids around, but there's a lot of people throwing their hat into that ring as well, so we'll have to see how that all does. Adara, give us your take on Paramount Skydance.
With regards to Paramount Skydance, I don't know. I think that I'm a little bit concerned for them. I'm going to be honest here. And I want to talk, a lot of it has to do with their acquisition strategy. I think that the South Park makes a lot of sense. But, let's be real. Some other aspects of this, the Duffer Brothers have taken years and years to put out, a 5-season show on Netflix, which is, of course, Stranger Things. So I'm like, how do we think they're going to get this content immediately for Paramount Skydance? Now, one more thing that I'm going to say, that I am being very serious when I say this. I discussed this yesterday in the market recap show as well. How are you guys going to put out more content when your app is not functioning well? I mentioned this on the show. I said, hey guys, if anyone else has these issues with the app, please let me know. And almost, I don't want to say everybody, but a lot of people, at least 4 or 5 people coming out and saying, hey, I have issues using it on my TV. I have issues using the app too. If I can't rewind a show, why am I using your app? It's just such a frustrating user experience. And I do think that matters. And you know what I mean? I honestly think that should matter. So again, I kind of dislike this aggressive focus on getting more content when your user experience through which people will watch the content has not improved. That's my rant here on Paramount Skydance. I'm not dancing with excitement for this one and for what they have looking forward.
All right, guys, let's talk about Beyond Meat reporting earnings. I wasn't doing much in the morning. Let me just double check where this fantastic company is at right now. They're down 7.44. So let's talk about it. So they reported a larger than expected quarterly loss. Surprise there. Guided Q4 sales that were below expectations. Their Q4 sales outlook now, they're guiding 60 to 65 million. The street was looking for 70. So an automatic miss on the top line there. The Q3 results, though, that's for their guide. The Q3 results, they printed $70.2 million. That's a down print from a year over year, 13.3%, but slightly above that $69 million consensus by the street. Net loss widened substantially, $110.7 million loss. They lost $26.6 million on the quarter last year. The company's saying it was impacted by an impairment charge as well as the suspension of its China operations. Adjusted loss per share coming in at 46 pennies, but as I mentioned, down almost 7.5 here. Look, the share surged about 1,350% in 3 days in late October, kind of like a meme-ish stock. The sharp reversal highlights extreme short interest in speculative trading. Of course, Joey, despite the spike, shares remain down 66% year to date, reflecting structural weakness, of course, with the CEO saying that there's persistent category headwinds and soft top-line environment, excuse me, as demand for plant-based meat continues to fade. People not loving that life. I don't even think they have good products, to be quite honest with you. I mean, what I'm hearing is they're super salty.
Yeah.
Inflation-conscious consumers are also turning away from higher-priced processed alternatives, especially as the Maha, not Mega, Maha.
Oh, Maha. Oh, okay.
Make America healthy again, gain traction. But.
Oh, I mean, that's crazy. Anyways, no, honestly, what isn't gaining traction is these meat alternatives, guys. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure A&W had a deal with these guys as well, too. But listen, the popularity of this thing is obviously starting to dwindle, and it's just fallen into that meme crazy. So if we're talking about nothing burgers, I think this is going to be the definition of one, in my opinion, Sharif, considering it's just a made-up meat. It's an alternative. We can pull up the stock itself and see what we got going on. What's up, Brandy?
Brandy.
I got a coffee holder.
You got a coffee holder?
You got a coffee holder? Are you getting a Beyond Meat burger?
Have you ever tried the Beyond Meat? Once. Thoughts? Just give the hand signal, up or down, man. So kind of like.
Okay, let me ask this: is a vegetable burger classified as a Beyond Meat burger, or?
Was actually better.
I used to have that one.
So at our local burger joint called Harvey's, kind of similar to, I don't know what they would call it in the States there. Five Guys, yeah. They have a veggie burger. You like that one?
It wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad. I've had that one. I've also had Licks when they used to be open in Canada.
Wow.
They had a veggie burger. It was fantastic as well. I've never tried the Beyond Meat burger because I've heard bad things. Ram likes it.
Likes it.
Why?
Okay,
Assassino likes it. Andre likes it as well.
It.
Okay, good to hear.
Okay, good to know. Yeah, I mean, for me personally, I used to, but again, I'm just not on that train anymore. I think the popularity in that space is definitely starting to cool off a little bit, and the stock is just in the meme ETF now, I'm pretty sure. So, you guys, with a dying name, I get it. You have all this fun once in a blue moon, with the likes of GME, but there's at some point the fundamentals come into play, and what we got going in Beyond Meat is not going to be sustainable, or you're going to see this probably for quite some time. Once again, short float probably decimated. So that's why I stand on Beyond Meat.
Okay. All right, Adara, give us your take on BYND.
Yeah, I want to talk here about this report because I don't know. I think it's kind of what we expected. I think it's not super impressive. We did have that revenue beat, but EPS was below estimates. And I mean, yeah, like this whole idea of uncertainty around their operating environment. This should not be shocking. Right? It is sad, you never want to make light of a company having these issues. But yeah, I have to say with this one, and I think it would have been really nice if they had impressed us with some crazy good numbers. Not that that was very likely, given that we already had prelim earnings. But either way, yeah, this is a sad look here for BYND. And I think that guidance isn't much to write home about. But as I usually like to say, when guidance is below estimates, in that case, you actually have the opportunity to wow investors with like a really, really solid report, right? If you like blow guidance out of the water. Now, that's where I have issues with companies like Oracle, for example, which guide like super, super high that it's almost impossible to, to beat those. So I think either way here, BYND hopefully setting its expectations low to really impress us. I don't necessarily know if that's what they're going to do. But yeah, I think an interesting report for sure, though likely as expected.
All right, thank you very much. Let's go on to the next topic. Apple locks in Taiwan semis, 2-nanometer chips as the competition heats up. So they reportedly, Apple that is, secured the majority of Taiwan semi 2-nanometer supply, ensuring that it's got first access to the next-gen silicon through at least 2026. The move strengthens their silicon dominance with their M processors and the A processors, obviously, for iPhones, Macs, and it maintains their performance edge over rivals ever since they dropped Intel. And now, for their modems, they're dropping Qualcomm, as we know. Industry sources say Apple's long-term chip strategy, which is securing early access to cutting-edge nodes like 5, 3, and 2-nanometer, remain key to the company. With limited availability, especially with rivals like Qualcomm and MediaTek may face delays accessing those 2-nanometer waivers. And so what are we talking about here? To meet the demand, Taiwan Semi is ramping up its 2-nanometer production across facilities everywhere, as well as fast-tracking upgrades to its Arizona fab in order to be able to make those 2-nanometer nodes, And Taiwan Semi, that is, plans to acquire more U.S. land to expand capacity with mass production expected in mid-2026 and a ramp up through 2027. Management stated expansion progress is smooth and on schedule, and they're going to have a dual location, obviously, to meet some of the geopolitical risks that are at play here, Joey. So Apple getting their quick hat into the ring there, making sure they got the 2 nanometer before everybody else wants it and they can't get their hands on it.
Again, they're doing what they have to, getting their hands in the basket, as you mentioned before everyone else, locking that in. They got the cash anyway, so there's nothing to worry about on that front. As for TSM, it's been on a big time run, guys. You're up 119% from those April lows. Apple's been performing fantastic as of late as well, too. When this was lagging a lot of bigger names for quite some time, and then sure enough, it was off to the races. You get a move all the way from 169 up to 274. That's a big time spike from those lows, especially in the name who are like, hey, we don't know what's going on with them, considering the China tariffs, that was a weight on their shoulder for quite some time. But as soon as that was lifted, boom, the Google deal as well, too, worked in their favor. You're up 62% off of those lows.
All right, Dumbo, thank you very much, brother, for the $5 super chat. Happy Veterans Day, Joey and Sharif, done for the day. 2K on Take-Two Interactive. Calls now. Gonna go eat free pancakes at IHOP before that gym sesh. My man, I like it.
Eat pancakes before you go to the
Let's
gym?
get it. Hey, man, he needs to
that's
up a little bit, Joey.
crazy.
It's okay. You don't know. Maybe he's in bulking season.
Yeah, maybe it's bulk season. It is that season, isn't it?
Shout out to the man. All right, thank you very much, brother, for that. Let's go on, Joey, to the next story over here. We're talking about Meta. So we've been talking about Meta poaching everybody's AI talent and hiring a plethora of new hires, but now there's actually people leaving their AI team. Let's talk about it. So Chief AI Scientist Yan LeCun, probably butchered that, I do apologize, is reportedly planning to leave the company to launch his own AI startup, according to the Financial Times. He's one of the godfathers of AI, or, that's what he's being referred to here. He's a key architect behind Meta's AI research strategy, and he's said to be in the early fundraising talks for his new venture. His departure would mark the biggest leadership exit yet from Meta's AI division during, yes, of course, a very crucial expansion phase. And let's cut the crap. Llama sucks, okay? And it's not doing well at all. People are not adopting it. So despite all the hires, I don't know if that's really what he's going for, or he really wants to get his hand sort of in AI for ads or something other than large language models, because Llama ain't cutting it right now. So as we know, CEO Mark Zuckerberg recently reorganized Meta's AI efforts under a new division called the Superintelligence Labs, reflecting, of course, his ambition the Meta operations there. LeCun, who previously reported to the Chief Product Officer, Chris Cox, now reports, or did, to Wang, a shift that may have influenced, according to this article, his decision to explore opportunities outside Meta. So I guess maybe the implication is here, he ain't vibing with Alexander Wang.
Mark and Wang?
No, this dude who's leaving, LeCun.
Okay,
his name is... what is it again, Joey? Yan LeCun.
Yan. I mean, hey, listen. When Mark started poaching all of these individuals, I'm still looking forward to see what they can bring. We know that he gets a little bit excited with his capex, maybe obsessive compulsive, as I mentioned not too long ago, in the fact that the metaverse and all of this money spending, and it never really caught any ground. Is he going to be falling in that same realm here as he grabbed all of this talent? We know that it's not always the best players on one team that can create the best things. It's just constructing the best team. Now, it's going to take some time. I don't know how much ground these Meta glasses are going to grab either. Katina Man said his kids got them. They're not the biggest fan of them. Yeah, I swear he said that. Yeah.
I believe you when you say it.
Yeah. He said, you know what? They weren't overly thrilled with them. You mentioned that they're relatively cheap, not the best quality of products.
That's what people are saying.
I personally haven't touched them either. So I'm curious as to what Mark Zuck has got going on. Is he going to get ahead of himself once again? And then you're going to see that reflected in the stock price. The street didn't like it whatsoever. Guidance, we're raising that capex. And then that's when you drop approximately 25% from that previous high, lagging a lot of its peers. I think that this will rebound without any question, just due to Instagram and Facebook. They're monsters. They're absolutely monsters. But yeah, there it goes. AMD, we'll pull up AMD right now. But as for Zuck, everything will be okay. The street gets a little excited as well, too. We know we tend to overreact. Can that be the situation? Possibly. But there goes AMD. I mentioned the volatility spike during this event. It's happened earlier. It's happening now. Watch it break through those support levels, 237.83.
Joey, just before we get Adair's take on this, I want to cover the super chat because it's directly for you, brother. Shout out to KT Fourth. Joey, I'm in a bear call spread on Rivian, 1650 to 1750. It expires November 21st, but getting a little nervous. Would you close now or would you wait out for the dip?
1650 to 1750?
Yeah, $1.
Okay, so your short calls are the 1650s. You wrote the 1750s. Yeah, you're underwater. My issue is here, maybe you're going to just have to accept the loss on this one. Hopefully it's not too substantial. I mean, it is $1. I don't know how many you have, but look at this volume and then look at the strength within these bullish candles, and you're starting to break through some key resistance zones. I would avoid that at all costs.
AMD's tanking, guys. The blood is in the streets right now. Thank you, Neil, for calling that out. Blood in the streets now for AMD all the way down to 234, guys. Be on the lookout. We're going to go to Adara right now. She can comment on Meta and let us know, Adara, what's going on with AMD.
I want to talk here about advanced micro devices. She's talking a lot here, guys, Lisa Su, saying that even amongst the AI GPU boom, CPU demand is actually accelerating in a new trend. INTC apparently moving on this, but she also raised their data center total addressable market to over $1 trillion compared to the prior guide here of $500 billion. So again, massively raising here what they believe the total addressable market is for this data center look. So interesting look here for AMD. Again, Lisa Su saying the data center market should grow by to over $1 trillion by 2030. So that's all I'm really seeing here. Maybe some bubble fears being exacerbated. But speaking of AI, I do want to talk about Meta META. I think this is honestly kind of par for the course, right? It makes sense that if you're going to acquire all of this new younger, fresher, hipper, whatever you want to say, talent, it makes sense, you've got someone who, as you mentioned, mainstay in AI, specifically for Meta. You want to spread your wings. Maybe you don't feel as appreciated. You want to go somewhere else. I'm not here to, psychoanalyze this man, even though I have done a little bit of that. But I think the point is it makes sense that you'd want to go elsewhere. I don't think this should be super concerning for the company. In fact, I actually think it makes a lot of sense that he would do this. So yeah, I think with META, makes sense. We got a little bit of a shock in the stock today, but I don't think this should be long-term concern for META. As we know, they're acquiring a lot of people. They have a lot of new young lifeblood in terms of where both Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg and former Scale CEO, Alexander Wang, want to take the company. And so I have a feeling they'll be able to find someone in this role. Now, will that person be as qualified or as experienced as Jan LeCun? I don't know. That might be where you have an issue. But either way, I have a feeling this will kind of just be part of the cycle here. As you get new employees, some decide to leave.
All right. Thank you very much for that. Darwin, you're making me chuckle, bro. Sell this too. Oh, my goodness. All right. Jag, Joseph, Sharif. Pardon me. If Burry is right about companies not accounting the depreciation of chips, does this not mean that Nvidia should benefit even more? Yeah, I mean, from a tax perspective, because you can take obviously a write-off on depreciating capital assets, right? DCC, depreciating the capital costs. Of course, I think that benefits them. To me, that really isn't what I was looking at, more from the replacing of the chips. To me, it was more of Nvidia staying relevant every year, because if they're going to do like a release like Apple does with its iPhone and its products every year, then that means, the hyperscaler is going to have to upgrade these chips every year. Now, they don't necessarily have to upgrade power or, even their infrastructure, because that all can get built out at one time, then they can kind of expand it over time. What they can't, do incrementally is chips. They're going to have to upgrade these all the time. And, you can see use cases certainly where older chips are sufficient for certain processes and certain workloads, but not for the most cutting edge stuff. So that's why when I was talking to Katina Man, I'm saying, NVIDIA, there could be a huge short coming up at some time in the future. Not like you're going to catch me shorting this. That thought is sort of offset by the fact that there's going to be a yearly thing. What I was saying was I think they get disrupted by cheaper chips. And even Altman himself, I was listening to the Gerstner interview with Altman, Nadella, and Gerstner, and they were Gerstner asked Altman, he's like, do you think that there's going to be a glut of compute? And Altman, like without hesitating, he's like, yeah, absolutely. And so it comes a time where, you're not the best on the block and you're not the only one that can make these. And all of a sudden, there's competitors.
It's not easy to stay at the top forever, Sharif. It's just not the reality of the world that we live in. There will always be someone coming in bigger or better or cheaper in this instance in the likes of NVDA. Is there going to be too much compute at some point? Look how much we're spending. Look how much these hyperscalers are spending. At some point, people are going to be like, it's too much. You already seen the street getting upset with Mark Zuckerberg on his CapEx. He's increasing it. They don't like it. So if that's sustained and they just keep spending more and more money, eventually they're going to be like, all right, it's too much. And we don't know how much of this we can put to use, even though they say there's not enough of it that we can get on. At some point, there will be too much. And you'll see the Wall Street, or you will see Wall Street reflect on that.
All right, guys, open door is at the high of the day. I see you guys talking about that. It's been awfully consolidative. I get that it just printed day's high, or almost at 841. The day's high was the 10 o'clock high there, right at 841, but it did get up to 839. It isn't for me. It's awfully consolidative, especially when you look at it on a wider time frame. Look at these, the last few days, how it's been moving. So yeah, I'll keep an eye on it, but certainly not anything that I wanna jump into at the moment. Yeah, Jeg saying the same thing, and Jeg works in tech from my conversations with him in the past. He reads as follows: Sharif, cheaper chips happen when demand goes down. If companies have to consistently buy chips, when do they see demand going down? Joseph, I do agree with you, by the way. Yeah, sounds good. Either, Ozan goes to say, either all people auditing financials, Meta's books are liars, or they fit the IRS and they don't report. Fine, we don't like not relevant. Sharif, people make big issues out of Twitter posts.
Okay, something going on with Apple. It's just keep squeezing here. That's it for me today. I mean, there's still risk on the table, but I tried shorting this name on multiple occasions, and it just kept squeezing higher and higher, and I was putting on a little bit of size too. So that's it. I'm just going to stop trading before it gets any worse. I was almost back to green, but now I'm just back to where I started, and that's not what we want. So.
All right, Joe. All right, guys, let's go on with Big Bear AI. Katina, man, pumped about this, even though he's not here right now. Surged, I'm trying to say, I can't say it. Just trying to see where they're at right now. 9.72, but losing about half where it was up in the pre-market. It was up about 18% after better than expected Q2 results. Revenue, $33.14 million, beating the 31.82. Net loss of 3 pennies per share, but that beat the 7 penny per share loss the street was expecting. Gross margins now 22, a little bit lower than 22.5%, but that was supported by a strong Army program volumes. And the company ended the quarter with more than, a little bit less than $500 million in cash. And what really stood out to me was not the cash I got on hand, that's great, but the backlog. $376 million in unbillable services because they can't meet demand. Now, they did acquire a new company called Sage during Q2, and they announced that definitive agreement to acquire it. It's a fast-growing generative AI platform, and they specialize in secure model distribution and enterprise AI tools. The deal is expected to close in Q4 of this year or Q1 of next year. And it's going to really help Big Bear with their defense department, their national security push, as well as regulated industries. And they continue to kind of do what they already do, which is this biometric deployment. They continue to scale. It's called Veriscan Biometrics. They recently deployed it at O'Hare, Chicago O'Hare Airport, in partnership with the U.S. Customs and Border Protection. And Joey, when you're talking about guide, they reaffirmed their full year 2025 guidance. They're saying now they're expecting it to bring in $125 to $140 million in revenue.
All right, yeah, I mean, from a year-over-year standpoint, revenue is down 20%, but this name is continuously breaking out. You got to take the volatility with it at the end of the day. You're getting these massive ebbs and flows. That previous high around $16, you pump into around $9, was the previous pivot high in the October month, so not too long ago. Just keep an eye out on it. Again, you're going to want to punch through these But what we are forming is these consistent higher lows is something to note. If those hold up, once that trend cracks to the downside around that $5.39 level, then that's when you'd want to get out. Other than that, if you get an additional move here, you can see there's some indecision prints right at the lower end of that channel. Look to play those once again. Gap being filled, that's okay. It's just everything south of that trend line, guys.
All right, let's go on to Intel. Joey as their CEO. Oh no, he's departing for OpenAI, and that's raising AI leadership concerns for the company. So yes, Chief Technology Officer Sachin Katti announced his departure to join OpenAI, becoming the latest senior exec to leave since Patty G left in 21, or since his restructuring plan, I should say, started in 21. Katti, who joined Intel in 2021 after a long tenure at Stanford, is going to help OpenAI's AGI infrastructure, artificial general intelligence. According to OpenAI President Greg Brockman, Intel thanked Katti for his leadership in advancing AI and advanced technologies and group initiatives, while reiterating that its AI roadmap very much remains intact despite the leadership move. Katti's exit, I should say, follows a series of top-level departures that have challenged Intel's turnaround narrative. The company continues to struggle to attract major customers, especially for its foundry business, manufacturing, of course, as it tries to compete with Taiwan Semi and Samsung. They faced AI chip delays as well, whether it's a 14A or the 18A node, and we know their Ohio plant, which was supposed to open this year and now is slated for open in 2030 as well. They continue to reshuffle their leadership, bringing in, obviously, Lip-Bu Tan earlier this year, Joey. So Intel, you know, good as of late, but we'll talk about that after this.
Yeah, absolutely. New traders, listen up. First month free. That's right. We're waiving fees. Trade smarter, not harder. Upgrade to Elite. Analyze, strategize, capitalize. Our platform. It's everything infinite. Instant data. Trading, lightning fast market insights, game-changing charts, predict with backtesting, reliable real-time data, global markets at your fingertips, all in one platform. Don't miss out. Execute your best trades now. Ready to elevate your trading.
AMD, it's rocketing up.
QR code.
Yeah. Something's going on with AMD, guys. It's absolutely rocketing up. It just popped up from 237 to 242, giving back a little bit now. AMD's all sorts of insane. Here it is. I just showed to you. Okay, we're going to Adara.
Yeah, talked here, Lisa Su, CEO, about a potential 80% or up to 80% revenue CAGR. So that's comprehensive annualized growth rate. So again, CAGR here, that metric. We do have AMD CEO saying that they see this metric growing by up to 80% over the next 3 to 5 years. So more pretty intense forecast here from AMD CEO Lisa Su. If I get more here, I'll keep you guys posted, but there's been a lot of volatility, as you can see, on AMD. Back to you.
Thank you. Yes, I see Gelato. Gelato's absolutely ripping faces off right now. Go, Gelato, go. It's not called Gelato, but I call it that lovingly. 31%. Ripping off that $21 area where the candle opened up into $22.80. It's all gas, no brakes on GLTO. Taken to consideration, guys, the levels as follows. The pre-market high is $24 or thereabouts. After-market high from yesterday, about 25 to 25.5, and the pre-market from yesterday, you're looking at 26 to 26.33. You could have bag holders at all those levels. Be alert to them. Take profits if you see resistance in that area. Shout out to Gelato. Good look there, Joey. I just wanted to. I didn't mean to interrupt you there, but Intel, are you done your analysis?
Yeah, everything's good.
All right, Adara, give us your take on Intel.
I think here with Intel, the other thing I want to mention here about this story is that it's not just that the CTO is leaving, it's that his duties are apparently going to, specifically with regards to AI, are going to be overseen now by CEO Lip-Bu Tan. Now, this man is taking on like so much. He has not even been in the company for like a whole 9 months. He started in March of 2025, and yet already, you know, he's making deals with Nvidia. He's making deals with the US government. He is now apparently going to oversee a whole AI department. Like, I wonder if this man is maybe spread a bit too thin. That is a lot of responsibility, especially if we're trying to get this foundry part of the business started. Now, again, the foundry is a contentious issue for Lip-Bu Tan. He was actually on the board during former CEO Pat Gelsinger's tenure, but he left a couple months before Pat Gelsinger was ousted, in part because he didn't agree with the foundry aspect of the business. So, like, I mean, it's clear that Lip-Boutan has plans beyond the founder that he wants to work on AI, but given the U.S. government deal, as we've discussed before, I think it does make sense, too, that he still has to work on this founder, even though this isn't really where his heart lies. So I think, you know, my bigger issue is not that this CTO is moving on to OpenAI. My bigger issue is that how can this one CEO accomplish all these tasks at the company? I mean, he's proven himself so far, but like running the company and running their AI efforts, something as major as AI, that could prove to be a lot for one man. I do want to repeat that story in AMD because that I was corrected with the headline that was pushing it higher. It looks like anyway here. AMD seeing data center growth here of more than 80% compound annual growth rate, and the company is actually seeing tens of billions of data center revenue in 2027. So again, massive CAGR going forward here, and then apparently tens of billions in data center revenue just 2 years from now. Back to you.
The price action in Intel is absolutely ridiculous. It rockets up, it rockets down. What the hell is going on? It almost went green. It touched your level prior day close. You and I love that. The closing print, there it goes. It is now momentarily green up into 245. AMD is moving, guys. It is trying to go green, trying to stay green, I should say, into 244. So the closing print was, I think, 243.89, 243.80 is trying to go, as you can see here. It rocketed up to 244.75. There it goes. 245 now up a third. There comes 246, Joey. The bid is on right now with AMD. Shout out to the Soosters. 1% in Greensville. Say it ain't so, Lisa. Very good strength here, Joey. So we're going to keep an eye out on AMD. If there's anything new, of course, we will bring it to you. But keep your eye on AMD. It is rocketing up now over 1% in Greensville. Let's go on to the next story. Nebius. They secured a $3 billion AI deal with AI, with Meta, and they're expanding their cloud. So they also reported earnings. They reported Q3 revenue just a little bit below 150 million, 146.1. But look at that year-over-year increase. 355% year-over-year bump on that top line number, though, for whatever reason, it was below estimates at 155.7. The company remains sold out of its AI infrastructure capacity, reflecting, of course, robust momentum, but also limited near-term scalability. And this is what we've been hearing from all these, cloud, neo-cloud companies. We can't buy enough chips. We don't have enough capacity to meet demand. This is a persistent problem, which, kind of runs counter, of course, to the AI as a bubble narrative. We'll have to see how that all looks out. We're going to pause for a second. We're going to go to Adara. She's got news on AMD.
Yeah, I have to mention more here with regards to AMD. So again, Lisa Su stepped off the podium. Now there's the CTO by the name of Mark Papermaster. He's talking, but before she left, a couple other things here. 3 to 5 year annual growth of 35% CAGR, compound annual growth rate. Now for overall data center growth, they're seeing that as greater than 60% again over the next 3 to 5 years. Now, AMD is expecting PC market CPU share. So again, CPU, PC market share of greater than 40%, and again, strong data center growth. So they're seeing good CPU growth, specifically in terms of their market share. They're seeing good CAGR, and they're seeing good data center revenue growth as well. So lots of really strong guidance going forward here for AMD.
I see it, Tisha. I see Gelato. I see it $23 on the dot, high a day on GLT. Let's go on, though, with Nebius. Someone to tell me Nebius was tanking. I can't control that, brother. I'm just telling you what the report was. They're down 5.7% on the day, by the way. 114.56 high, 102.51 low. Let's keep going over here. So what happened here? So the contract that they struck with Meta, this is Nebius's second major hyperscale AI deal this year, following that $17.5 billion tie-up with Microsoft in September. The CEO said Meta's agreement was limited by Nebius's current capacity. Again, that same issue. I don't have enough capacity, highlighting the high demand and full utilization of current resources. The company plans, Joey, though, to deploy additional capacity over the next 3 months so they can actually meet Meta's AI infrastructure deals. They also had many different line items there on the report, but I feel like this is the biggest one.
Yeah, man, I mean, the build-out is real, brother. There's no beating around this bush at this point. As for the bubble, I mean, these deals are being struck, and what happens after that is only time will tell. As you've seen in the notes there as well, too, guys, up 415% off of those April lows. You're heading towards some key support levels as you want to keep an eye out on that. But you got to take into consideration early April, this was a 9 $19 stock, and then you go to a high of around 140 bucks. That's 631%, just like that. Quick as you'd like, Sharif, on NBIS.
Absolutely. What a monster, brother. I mean, we always look for these like 10-bagger AI names, and this one was clearly, it's a 4-bagger right now. So, all right, let's talk about this one. Rocket Labs beats earnings as the space launch demand soars. EPS, a penny, surpassing expectations of a 5-penny loss. That's an earnings surprise of 120%, albeit 1 penny profit per share, of course. That's also reversing from the penny they lost last year on the quarter, so a nice year-over-year increase there. Revenue of $158.05 million. That's a 51% year-over-year increase on that top line number. And RKLB, Rocket Labs, has now beaten EPS estimates for the 4th straight quarter. Good look from the space company there. The growth came from both launch services as well as space system segments with expanding defense and commercial contracts. The management noted strong momentum in satellite manufacturing as well as government payload demand, setting up what they're saying is going to be a robust 2026 pipeline there. Shares of Rocket Labs, Joey, 103% year-over-year increase, or sorry, year-to-date increase, outperforming by a mile the S&P's 14%.
Yeah, I mean, like 400% from the April lows. I think that's our gauge that we're going to continuously go in. AMD is, is continuously going as well. We punched through those pre-market highs and the previous high of the day. So I think this name's going to continue to go. Before this event even started, I mentioned, hey, watch out for the volatility spikes. Did we think that it was going to be to the downside at that break of 237.29? Absolutely. But guess what? Liquidity grab, and then you just continue to grab to trade a little bit higher. You're now at yesterday's high. So if you want to talk about levels, guys, we talked about PDC. You want to mark that out. You want to mark out yesterday's high and the intraday low as well. And if you want to get really serious about it, start marking out your pre-market highs and your pre-market lows as well too. But as for RKLB, we mentioned this before. Intraday not looking too good, Sharif. That's all right. We're not too worried about it. Yesterday on that earnings report, you get that nice strong pop up, and then in the earlier hours, you have that blue ocean price action trading all the way to a high of around $58 from $55. That's a nice move right there.
All right, let's go on to the next story, Joey. C Limited beats on revenue but misses on a profit forecast amid growing competition. So they're profitable. They reported a net profit, $375 million on the quarter, and that is up sharply from last year, but below, for whatever reason, consensus estimate was $402 million. Revenue did rise 38% year over year on the quarter to just, and I really mean that, just shy of $6 billion, 5.99. That beat there thanks to e-commerce and digital finance performance as the company credits those divisions. We were up, I don't know where we're at right now, 3.8% in the pre-market, but at the time of the writing of this article, we're up 46% year-to-date on C. SE is the ticker. Let's talk about their e-commerce division. Shopee, that's C's e-commerce platform, remains its main revenue engine, contributing over 2/3 of the company's total revenue. Shopee's gross merchandise value, a metric we typically see with Shopify and some others, 28% year-over-year bump on there, while gross order volumes rose 20%, setting new performance records. They continue to expand beyond Southeast Asia. Apparently, they're now entering into Latin America and looking at other emerging markets for future growth. They also have a gaming segment. Garena, whatever, that's their gaming division, saw bookings rise 51% year over year on the quarter, but still bringing in a little bit less than $1 billion, but exceeding management's previous guide. The rebound for their gaming segment was fueled by strong user engagement because they have some hit game called Free Fire, not that I know anything about it. And last but not least, they got a fintech arm. It's called C Money. You see money and you spend it.
Yeah, you see money.
See money continues, Joey, to scale aggressively. Revenue up 41%. Again, just shy of that billion revenue mark, $989.9 million, driven by their credit expansion and their digital payment growth. Joey, how does SE look?
Yeah, I mean, SE, it's funny. I used to trade this way back in the day, and it was one of my best day two earnings plays ever. But let's never mind that. From those April lows, you're up to $98. You're up 102%. So you're doubling your cash just like that. Now, again, to the downside, not too good of a look as we are down 30% off of those highs. So that's most definitely bear market territory, and you have to take that into consideration. Well, when do we realize that, hey, there might be some more downward momentum leading into the earnings play? Is the break of this key support level at 146.50. Once that's snapped, and with today's trajectory, there might be some sustained and continued momentum to the downside. You have that massive volatility spike on the earnings report. You recover it, but you have the inability to breach the pre-market wick high, and then now you're heading towards that pre-market wick low. Watch out for some more bleeding in this.
Yeah, that doesn't look very good, brother. All right, let's talk about Rigetti. Mom's spaghetti beating on Q3 as quantum momentum builds. I don't want anybody laughing when I show the revenue number there, okay? Because this company
it's good
is, hold on, Joey. Let's tell them what the market cap is, 10.21 billion. Just before I show you the revenue, I want to tell you that this company's market cap is 10.21 billion. Now let's show the revenue. I don't mean to laugh. Revenue came in at 1.95 million, up 18.5% year over year, but beating the consensus estimate of 1.65. Also, they did post a 3-penny loss, but that's better than the 5-penny loss their seat was looking for, and it marks a 40% positive earnings surprise. So whatever the revenue number is, it is a beat on the top and bottom line. As the big boys always say, there's no good or bad, there's better or worse. So over the last 4 quarters as well, Rigetti Mom's Spaghetti has surpassed EPS estimates twice. So 50 batting 500 there last year or so. Let's talk about their business context and their sector performance. Companies made measurable, according to them, progress in commercial partnerships for quantum as a service, not software as a service now, guys. We're talking about CAS, not SaaS, and scaling in its Anka 2 processor platform. The quantum computing sector remains, of course, highly speculative, but continues to attract institutional investors as global tech firms like your IBMs, your Googles, your Amazon, they're all trying to push for that commercialization gold standard, Joey. So despite the small revenue numbers, and we have to admit they are small relative to the market cap, Rigetti's operational discipline and repeated EPS beats help build investor credibility. What's your look?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. You have to take this into consideration. We're not near where we want. You're going to be forward-looking in this whole space, right? Like, we know that Google has their Willow, IBM involved as well, too. But as for the QUBTs, the RGTIs, the OnQs, you have to be really forward-looking. And do you want to be an early investor in some of these names? I think so. Now, again, this is a really, really tough look considering from those April lows, you go up almost 700%, but from that point, you're down over 40%. That's not too good, almost 50%. You have to take into consideration the volatility and the volume stepping in. Will you start to head back towards these highs? Yes. Is it going to be the same scenario in which we experienced in 24? Possibly. I like our chances considering the space is still growing and the continuous breakthroughs are going to be good. The earnings are going to support a sustained move in this. You're getting a little bit of a beat, but do those numbers equal to the valuation currently right now? No.
Goodness, no, yeah. Like, what's the forward? Let me look at that PE, Joey, just for you know what
it has to be in the thousands.
Negative, well,
Too long ago, it had a forward PE of like 1,200.
That it was ridiculous.
So what are these?
It's going to grow into the multiple, Joey. Just be patient.
Expansion, grow into it.
That's what everybody always says, right?
Hey, man, this is the same thing with what they say about Palantir. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't. You don't.
Maybe it will. Maybe it won't. Let's talk about Boeing, though, Joey, because they got that 777X certification, and they advance after FAA approval. So they received, yes, FAA approval to begin the 3rd of 5 certification test phases for its 777-9 wide-body jet, marking, of course, a major step towards eventual commercial service. They've been waiting for this for a long time. The phase represents the largest single round of evaluations to date for the long-delayed 777X program. Boeing stated it continues to work under FAA oversight to meet all the certification standards after years of scrutiny following the 737 MAX crisis. Why is this important? Because the 777X is central to Boeing's long-term wide-body aircraft strategy. It complements the now defunct or no longer made 747 jumbo jet as well as the older 90s versions of the 777. This thing's been in operation for a hot minute. The program has faced years of certification and production delays, adding over $15 billion in cumulative charges to their balance sheet. The company recently pushed back the jet's first delivery to 2027, that is, with a $5 billion additional charge taken last quarter, Joey. Despite the setbacks, the 777X remains very much key to Boeing's long-term plans and recovery strategy. What's your look over here?
I mean, Boeing's got a couple things going for it right now. The FAA, they're striking deals with China. They have a massive backlog as well too. But hopefully they're allowed to produce a couple more planes a year. Thank you for that. But I mean, if they can chip away. I mentioned that they essentially run a monopoly on the commercial airspace. So when are they going to get their act together? I think this is going to be a key level to keep an eye out on. 195 is roughly where we're trading at. 196. That indecision print, you know I'm looking out for those. Right below some key support levels of 197. Watch out for Boeing for a potential bounce here. Hold on, one more thing.
Yeah,
here,
go ahead, Joey.
From these highs of 243, you're down 20%.
Shoot.
We like that. April lows, this thing was getting destroyed. You're up 50%, so we'll take it.
But you're coming into prior resistance there. That might be a nice little look there, Joe. Like if
this
it
one,
holds up
the hold
that area of
this hold right here,
support, you know
That's what I'm saying. So like again, you get the break of the support level, the indecision print out the lows. I like it for a potential bounce if they can get out of their own way.
All right, understood. Adira, what do you make of this Boeing headline?
Go, Kelly Ortberg, go. I mean, like, I'll say that before and I'll say it again. This man has the opportunity to do what few Boeing CEOs have done and, you know, lead a company on a good path without having any ethical issues. I'm quite impressed. I continue to be impressed. It's been now well over a year since he took the helm. And, you know, nice look for Boeing. I also want to say here, we got around 11 a.m. today, which is when they usually release it. We did get October 2025 deliveries, and this is another notch in Kelly and Boeing's belt, guys. They're on pace here for their strongest annual delivery count since 2018. Now, in 2018, they delivered 806 aircraft for the year. As of October, the end of October, they've delivered 493 aircraft. Now, obviously, that is like pretty negligible compared to the count that we had in 2018. But hey, guys, largest count in 7 years, not a bad thing. It's baby steps. It's, you know, not being the worst CEO in American history. It's not resigning in disgrace. I actually think BA has a chance to get off the ground running and prepare for takeoff to the upside, at least. And that's not me talking about the chart. This is me just talking from a fundamental perspective, because as I mentioned, I followed this company fairly closely. This was actually one of my Jimmy Carter picks. And I think that this is finally an opportunity for Boeing to have a leader who understands what the company needs. And he's actually been really putting in the numbers. It's showing with that 777X certification clearing, and it's showing even more clearly with these October deliveries. Well done, Boeing team.
Thank you very much for that. All right, WCM, good what?
Tunes.
Good tunes, big tune. Can I get, first of all, thank you for the $20 super chat, my man. Where is it?
I'm really rich.
Get it, Donald. Can you guys give me your read on GME chart? Fundamentals have changed, and I think the December 9th earnings will pop. 12/9 earnings. But that chart looks like it wants to move before then, and I'm afraid it may flush. Let's have a look at GME, Joey, for a friend there. WCM Good Tunes. All right. Whoa, what's going on there, Joey? All right, let's take a look at Guma. What are we looking at here, Joe? Oh boy.
Oh boy is right.
Well, you know what, bro? Can I say something? We keep holding up at this $21-ish area, and we have been for quite a bit, man. And this goes all the way back. This $20, $21 area seems to be a general base, and this takes us all the way back to when we started going meme crazy again. I want to say in mid-24, May. Remember this? Mid-May, and then we had it again early June when this thing spiked up all the way to 80 bucks. It seems to be $20 as a general area, and I'm not talking pennies here, you know, or a strict sense, but that general $20 area seems to be a good buy. Case in point, look at this thing over here. When the market was flushing to no end on Friday, this thing dropped all the way down to 19, and it was aggressively bought back up, lo and behold, above 20, in this case, 21 bucks. So I don't know how you feel, Joey, about GME, but there certainly seems to be a buyer at 20 bucks. Be kind, brother. Be kind.
Listen, man. No, I will. I will, right? Listen, at the end of the day, I think you're going to be in a little bit. I'm going to be as kind as I possibly can. I think you're going to be in a little bit of trouble with this, man. I don't know what your specific price target is going to be, but you have to think, is the foundry sustainable? Listen, I get it. They're seeing an uptick in vintage trading cards and buying these older style video game consoles, but you got to think about the new generation. Everything is digital. No one's going to buy the physical copies anymore. I understand they have Bitcoin on their balance sheet. Fantastic. Is Bitcoin going to save them? Is the trading cards going to save them? My opinion is going to be no. So with this name, I think it's just going to be eventually the brick and mortar is going to be non-existent at some point because people will find things on some form of e-commerce site or Etsy or eBay or something along those lines.
Joey.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, brother. I have to interrupt. I have to tell them about this one.
Go ahead.
This is rocketing up, guys. LFS is up over 100%. When the hell did this thing wake up? Oh, yeah, like a few minutes ago. That's why. Shout out to Bovin, man. What a rocket ship LFS is here on volume. Each one of these 1-minute candles is doing over 200,000 shares a pop. 350 general area high here on LFS. Shout out to the OG Bovin. Trade this carefully as quickly as it moves up, as equally violently as it can move down. LFS here. Sorry to interrupt you, Joey. Just had to punch this before, you know, it was too late and this thing gave up the entire
No worries. Just keep an eye out. Just keep an eye out on GME. You might get a pop. You may not. Let's see how some of those numbers come out.
All right, guys. 201, and the big boys are that way. I'll see everybody on the big desk.